Well, hello. Hi. It is
Hello,
me, Stephen
hello.
Billings, Andrew Cabral. This is the 100th episode.
It
Yay!
is. We did it. We did it.
We did it. We made it here. Yes. Welcome to Chasing Labels. I'm your host, Stephen Billings. Andrew Cabral, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Do you know the music is still playing?
It is.
Okay. I didn't know if that was normal or not. See, because we don't do these very often, so I don't know what the procedure is. And Steven kind of sets all this up. So if any tech issues happen,
It's my fault.
you go to him.
Well,
He's
there's
the
a good
man to
chance.
yell at.
Our internet sucks, so my internet sucks. So there's always a chance you're going to see me going like, So, but I hope still people hang around. So tonight, we're going to do our normal show. We're going to do our normal show, talking Blu-ray announcements and things like that. But we're also going to reminisce a little bit, not only just between me and Andrew, but we're going to have a lot of previous guests pop in, and a couple of them are already here. They're backstage, they're hanging out, and we'll get to them in a second. But Andrew, how do you feel? I know how
feel
you.
good.
I know how you equate our show with time. So do you feel like we're 100 years old?
Every single day, to be frankly honest. I don't know. It feels like we've been doing it for longer than 100 episodes, if that makes any sense.
I mean, yeah, it's spread out over 2.5 years almost now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is about. I don't even. Yeah, it's been. We started it in 2021. I want to say
2020.
Was it 2020? I can't even remember.
Well, no, maybe it was 2021.
I
don't look at
probably
dates.
should look these things up.
I should, but I don't. I try not to look back. I'm moving forward. So
very true. Very true. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm feeling good. I mean, every single week, you get into that rhythm. Once the announcements start flowing in and you get locked in,
yeah,
the adrenaline hits you and you just dive into it, and then the week just moves.
Yeah.
So that's every week for us.
Corey Wilkinson. Hey there. Thanks. I believe this is the brother of Eric Wilkinson, the artist for MVD. I believe joining us watching live. We got to have Corey on to talk about.
Yeah, I'm not used to the live people jumping in. So
I know it's weird, right? It's weird.
It is very weird.
Hopefully, we get some more people watching soon. But we are going to get to some of our first. Disconnected. Mr. Ryan from Disconnected said, "Did somebody say announcements?" Well, of course, we're going to talk announcements, Ryan. And maybe we'll see Ryan a little later. He's going to probably pop in and talk with us a little bit. But I do want to we do have some people backstage that are going to say hey for a few minutes. Let's start out with our first one. We got he came on a little earlier in the year, coming from the UK. We got Rich Johnson. We caught him off guard. How you doing, man?
It's the Chainsaw Awards tonight, so I was just distracted by things popping up with Fangoria. Sorry, folks.
No, you're good, man.
100th.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
I think that's incredible.
We appreciate you being one of our previous guests and taking the time and the work that you do, of course, being an educator and somebody that's delving more and more into the special features work. You were just telling us off camera that you got some new jobs with 101 coming up, maybe.
Yeah, there's three of those. Yeah, I've just picked up, and it's mainly at the minute I'm sort of moving towards a lot of interviews, so a lot of A-listers and
nice.
Sort of talking to proper heroes. When's this going out? This is live at the minute, but then is it?
We'll have an audio.
Yeah,
late, little bit later on, probably in a day or two. Yeah,
I don't want to jinx anything, but it's going to be a busy week this week. Cool. One interview after the next, so looking forward to sharing those. They're starting to trickle through. I think Vincenzo Natali one came out a few weeks ago, so I did a few back to back with a lot of Canadian filmmakers, which was interesting.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we've been saying it for a while now that Canadian scene is just blowing up right now.
Ooh.
It's just
great.
A lot of labels popping up, a lot of uncovering of films from Canada. Loving that. Ryan sends a heart to us. We'll be seeing him later, I'm thinking. Also got another one here. Hi, we are ancient because young people only stream. Yes, that is true.
Yeah, that is true.
Sure.
But we're seeing the cracks in the streaming world, and it's kind of flooding, and it's kind of going down like the Titanic right now.
Yeah,
it's coming back. I think Yeah, I do think there is definitely a turn. I mean, even like I was saying, backstage, there's been a change even since we last spoke.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A
Proper
lot of
shift,
things going on. A lot of things
and
going
a
on.
lot of people getting really disgruntled with the scene. And I think because they're now starting to withdraw a lot of content as well, which will just disappear into the ether. You don't know what's going to happen with that. It might be something where it comes back around full circle. So a lot of these things that do start to become lost, fall into the cult wagon or fall into some kind of, place where they're kind of lost for years, and then there's a resurgence maybe where the rights are then rebought and they might start to see light of day, maybe via physical media. Maybe I'm being very optimistic.
That's the most discouraging thing, is that a lot of the things that are being taken down from these streaming services are recent projects. So
Yeah.
the people who worked literally on it for years are still like what happens with them? Because whatever their contracts are, are structured, how do they make money off of their work if it's not being watched by anyone? Where does that go? You know what I mean? And it's very frustrating, because I feel like I've been thinking about this all the week. The entire streaming model that's been born over the last several years was all predicated and promised and sold to us as consumers as you're being able to get the catalog of great work from whatever brand, Warner Brothers, Disney, whomever. And then it also was like, oh, here's our exclusive. But then now they're saying, well, that's not the case. We're getting rid of the old stuff. We're getting rid of the new stuff. And yeah, we kind of lied to you when we sold this to you. And it's like, oh, thanks. As consumers, it feels, you feel kind of jilted,
I think a lot of us have clawed onto it. And I think those that have been savvy enough realize that that's what will have inevitably happened. I mean, I was listening to the Video Archives podcast today, and it was interesting with Quentin Tarantino talking about there was one specific question about physical media and the importance of ownership, especially for explaining to those that are younger, why do you need to own something? Why do you need to own a film? And Tarantino was very transparent, and I would never kind of dictate or preach on about how important that is, but I don't understand why you wouldn't want to. And then Roger Avery had he was kind of picking up on the fact that if your streaming services are constantly throwing that content out there, and that I know, say the beginning of the noughties was a period where it was just as the internet really started to boom and push for that idea of minimalism in the household and getting rid of everything and not having clutter. That's what it is, clutter.
Yeah.
That's what it was sold as, which always really used to bother me. It's like when people used to go, well, it's clutter and it's dust collecting. You think, no, not really.
Not really. I mean, it's not the same thing. There's a lot of knowledge in that.
Not only that, but if you want to make that argument, you can say that almost anything you buy can then become clutter. You know, whether it be clothes or furniture or any type of belonging can then become clutter. Not only so movies, then we just get rid of everything.
It's about where we value, what we put our value in things, and I think that's the main thing that it comes to this question, is why physical media is important, was because there's value there, and some people don't value it as much as others, and that's fine. Nobody's trying to make everybody collect movies, but we shouldn't put it down just because we don't value it the same way as other people do. But I do, if you guys don't mind, I feel like I want to bring in another guest to join in with us. If you guys
I will say cheerio then, guys. And, amazing work you're doing. I've been really enjoying the interviews so far. So I look forward to the next 100 episodes. Best of luck.
I appreciate it, man. I hope we get that far.
You will do. You will. Keep at it. I love it. You're passionate, and you're helping keep all of this alive. And I think as writers and viewers and collectors, we all appreciate it. So yeah, bravo.
Well, thank you, Rich.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time and what you do, and we'll see you around.
You're welcome. Take care.
You too. And I love seeing Rich. Rich is always a great guy, man. He always keeps up with us on Twitter and whatnot. And now we're gonna bring in.
He's one of the few people who actually like my tweets. So he's
Thanks, Rich.
A-okay in my book.
Thanks, Rich. But next we're gonna bring in a guy that we haven't seen him in a minute. I think it was sometime late last year, but he's one of the main guys over doing a lot of producing over at Indicator. And we have Michael Brook.
Oh, hello.
Ha, it's you.
Nice.
How you doing, Michael?
Oh, fine. There's well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you
mean,
very much.
taking the time. I know you're a busy dude. I know
No,
you're really busy.
it's really genuinely impressive getting to 100. I know plenty of people who've sort of fizzles.
It's tough to stay motivated sometimes.
It really is.
Absolutely.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And so, Rich, I think the last time we saw you, you were in the midst of the gigantic box set.
God, yes.
That is now, of course, among us now.
Yeah, it took a long time for that to come out.
It was, I mean, we're talking about the Michael J. Murphy.
Michael J. Murphy, yes.
Yes, which I just started work on when you had me on. And yes, it was substantially delayed, and not because we were twiddling our thumbs. It presented technical challenges of a kind that I had never come across before. I devoutly hope I'll never come across again, although at least I'll know what to do this time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. I mean, to be fair to the late Mr. Murphy, he never intended his films to be presented like this in a sort of lavish Blu-ray box set. I think we alluded in the booklet to archival challenges as well as sort of technical challenges, because they weren't. I mean, for example, as anyone who's watched the notorious Disc 1 will know only too well, in some cases, the only what he used to do with the very old 16mm things, he would shoot most of his films on 16mm, but it was 16mm reversal stock, not negative stock, because that was just to keep the budget down. So that meant that what passed through the camera was the only copy. And with his very early films, he didn't really have any particular view about posterity. So he used to cut the best bits out onto compilations which don't survive. Fortunately, he transferred them to video. Unfortunately, the method he used was by basically projecting them against a wall, and they were filming them on a VHS camcorder angle. And then the VHS tape vanished. We assume it ended up in landfill after his death. But fortunately, he transferred that to a very compressed MPEG-4 file with interlaced combing, sort of actually baked into the unremovably baked into the picture. It was and we basically, without any script or any structural guidance, had to work out where these bits went and how to put them back in. I mean, without overall project producer Wayne McGinn, who was a good friend of Murphy's, it would simply not have been possible. But it was an incredible project. I mean, working on a complete filmography in a box is something I think all physical media producers dream of achieving, and in a lot of cases, particularly if it's someone prolific, contractually it's just impossible. It's I mean, even Criterion, bless them, they did an amazing job on Ingmar Bergman, but the overwhelming majority of those films came from Svensk film industry, and there are one or two that don't. So they did push the vote out there, but they were clearly unable to get hold of certain other titles because they were with a different rights holder. And most filmmakers, the nature of the business means you're going to be jumping from production company to production company, and unless you're Jim Jarmusch or Eric Romer, who really do keep control over their own work, or Michael J. Murphy. It's very, very hard.
And some filmmakers, their work, like you said, is all in the hands of all over the place, and it's just really, really hard. I think certain prestige filmmakers like a Bergman, there's going to be a preserved archive somewhere of his work, something that's been well preserved because of who he was and how much his work has meant to the history of cinema.
And in Bergman's case, the vast majority of his films were for the same organization, which does help enormously, because Svensk film industry, he's still one of their, over a decade after his death, he's still one of their major income generators. So they have every incentive to do high quality sort of digital masters, and they have a real chance of releasing them internationally in a way that they might not with the vast majority of the rest of their catalogue. So they have every incentive to keep going. But if it's someone who's where the films are just scattered all over the place, it's much harder.
That's why you're probably never going to see like a Scorsese box set. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
I mean,
as prestigious as he is.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Yeah, you just can't do it. I mean, he's worked for pretty much every major Hollywood studio, and you just
now. Indicator has, since the last time I talked to you, has delved into the UHD 4K game with Jean Rollin's films, and I know they put out 2 already. They're putting another 2 out. That must be a whole different kind of set of technical.
It is. Yes, we deliberate. I mean, we took a lot. It's a very small world. We know pretty much everyone who works for the other labels, and so we made a point of talking to people who'd already got into 4K UHD, and their advice was pretty much unanimous. It said work out a really generous production schedule and add 6 weeks to it. You'll thank me later. So, which of course meant that pretty much as soon as I finished working on Michael J. Murphy, it was straight into learning how to do a 4K UHD release, which was. I think we've worked out how to do it. The bottom line is we basically have to absolutely nail down the Blu-ray, and once that's done, we don't change anything. Subtitles absolutely locked down, so they're checked over and over and over again. So hopefully there are no mistakes, because if we spot them while we're QCing the 4K, then I hope that doesn't happen. But yeah, that's been the Rollin stuff has been great. It helps enormously that one of our main producers, James Blackford, is ex Redemption, so he I think he worked on some of the earlier Rollin things, and he certainly got loads of contacts, and they're real labours of love, and they're coming together really nicely.
Yeah, let me ask you about the choice of the slim box. The slim box that you guys did, was that?
I wasn't involved with. I'm not involved with packaging decisions at all. My job is basically
producer of content, special features,
technical producers of this content basically. So I didn't know what they would be like until they actually physically turned up. In fact, I've got them right here.
Yeah.
I think I've obviously been following the debate on this with keen interest, without taking part, because it's quite aside from anything else. It's not my area, so it's not really for me to say. But I think there was clearly. Because normally, actually, by way of comparison, here we go. This is the Big Gun Down, which is a sort of fairly thick, compared with the Shiver of the Vampires, which is like that, and they're actually
a lot closer in size than I thought.
Let's see that. Oh, sorry.
It's a good like inch, like almost about an inch.
It's not quite an inch, but I'd say this is Shiver of the Vampires is under half an inch, and this is not quite an inch. But I suspect the thinking was, and I have not talked about this, so I'm totally second guessing. Well, Nick Wrigley's the guy who's mainly responsible for the physical presentation side of things. I suspect the assumption is that quite a lot of people will be buying quite a few of the Rollin discs, because it's no secret that there are 20 titles under license. In fact, people have started noticing that the spine numbers, I think Shiver of the Vampires was 402 and Walk of the Vampires was 417. Those were not assigned randomly. And as people,
that's a clear giveaway.
The Rape of the Vampire, his very first film, is 400, and then Night of the Hunted is 411. So it's quite clearly in chronological order.
Just for my OCD, I'm glad that looks like they're putting the numbers in chronological order in terms of release date.
Yes.
So that helps people who are to put things in order.
People have been guessing what the other ones are, and for the most part, pretty accurately. I mean, I don't think I'm going to give anything away, but 401 is clearly the one that comes between Rape of the Vampire. There's also speculation, which I can't comment on at the moment, about whether it's just going to be the sort of horror genre films, or whether we're going to dip a toe into the other films that he was making to pay the rent. But it really, the order in which they're being released is basically in order of how easy it is to put the various packages together. As it turned out, Two Orphan Vampires was very, very straightforward indeed. So that's why that went out early. Otherwise, it might have seemed quite an eccentric choice. And some of the other ones, are presenting bigger challenges. Although I have to say, I've just seen the master for Night of the Hunted, which looks absolutely gorgeous.
Wow, great.
Really. I mean, even the Blu-ray version is a real step ahead of the previous Blu-ray releases. So that's going to look terrific.
Yeah, we'll be talking about the releases later. But I think we both watched Rape of the Vampire, and that just the version I watched, I was like, man, this is going to look amazing in 4K. Like,
yes, yeah,
yeah,
I haven't seen
black and white. Yeah,
I haven't seen. I haven't even seen the high def master yet.
yeah.
But yes, I think it has every potential to look amazing. But both, I know Night of the Hunt is going to look amazing, and I think that one has every potential to do that. I mean, it's a wonderful project to work on because they're complete labours of love. I mean, you know, everyone, even completely different departments like the 80-page booklet per film. I mean, it's going to add up a really, really substantial book on Rollin once all said and done. So yeah.
That's great. Any I mean, obviously you can't tell us about any upcoming projects yet that haven't been announced, but any of the most recent stuff other than the Rollin stuff that you're really excited about?
Well, the Rollins, the thing I've most recently done. I mean, we did the Mexico Macabre box and the family boxes. They're all. I think there's a slight manufacturing delay with both of them, but they are finished and signed off. And the Mexico Macabre box is wonderful. I mean, that was just absolute delight to work on. And I love the review in Mondo Digital that said, if you're not sure which genre you want to dip a toe into, then go for the Witch's Mirror, because that jumps around so many things. It sort of starts off as straightforward Mario Bava-esque gothic horror, and then it turns into sort of modern surgical transplantation horror, like face, and sort of dives into all sorts of other things along the way. But no, there's really, I mean, really interesting, really educational, because I didn't really know this stuff except by reputation. And that was, in fact, I mentioned James Blackford is working on the Rollin stuff, and Nora Mahoney is joined the team last year, and she's the in-house linguist. She speaks sort of native French and also very good Spanish, which is very, very useful indeed for the Mexican stuff. Because one thing we're doing with both Rollin and the Mexican films is where, insofar as we can, we're trying to get contributors from the actual countries. I mean, obviously we're going to include the native English speakers as well, but we don't want it to be exclusive native English speakers, because there's I think people from actually inside the culture that produced them inevitably are going to have things to say that we might not necessarily have heard before.
Nice.
And then the Orman family thing, which I was only involved with, but that's pretty jaw dropping.
I can't wait to check them out. Yeah.
And that was, I mean, we're talking about film preservation. That's one that's, I mean, hopefully people will understand why a large number of the films are standard definition. The reason is all of the film materials were destroyed in a devastating flood in 2010. And as luck would have it, there were tape masters. I mean, obviously we've gone for proper film sourced high def transfers where we could, but it wasn't possible for quite a few of them. But there is no alternative. And again, it's an amazing body of work.
Well, I mean, it's like the Michael J. Murphy. Like it's going to be like honestly, for a lot of us in education, a complete discovery. And that's what I'm loving about the sets you guys are doing. I think you guys and Severin with both of your box sets are really opening up a lot of people's eyes to just a whole other world.
We're trying to tell a story.
Yeah.
And that's, the extras in the book, particularly with Mexico Macabre, is incredibly educational about Mexican genre cinema at the turn of the 60s. There's a huge amount to talk about, and we've got people who really do know what they're talking about. I think there's commentaries on every film, which again just fill in a huge amount of background detail. Because and in fact, when we have some Mexican writers and commentators, they are clearly in absolute seventh heaven, because this is their culture that they are finally getting to present at length to English speaking audiences. So it's wonderful being involved with stuff like that.
That's fantastic.
Awesome.
I'm excited to see more Mexican stuff. Definitely.
Yeah, there will. I mean, I can confirm we have more under license, and hopefully if Mexico Macabre, if it sells out as quickly as the last year's ones, the La Llorona and the Phantom of the Monastery, then hopefully there'll be more. I mean, we very, very much want to do more. It's so fingers crossed. But
Awesome.
But certainly the reviews seem to bear out our faith in the project. So
fantastic. Well, Michael, I appreciate you popping in and talking with us, man. And we very much would love to have you back here in the future. Next time something really big we can talk about, we can have you back, man.
Well, you know where to find me.
I see you all over Facebook, and yeah. Well, I know how to get to you, but I want you to have a good rest of your day, and see you around.
Awesome.
It's night.
Yeah.
It's nighttime for you, I think.
I know.
It's only
gonna be weird.
It's about 25 past 10 over here, so it's not too bad.
Okay.
Well, I guess good night.
Good.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Bye.
See you. All right, man. This good start. Good start here. We had Rich and we had Michael Brook over at Indicator
Nice.
popping in. And we got another guest already waiting in the wings. A friend of ours, a guy that kind of started this for us. Dan Skip Allen. What's up, man?
Oh my goodness, you brought him in.
Ah, Jesus.
No.
You guys scraped the bottom of the barrel to get me.
I know.
That's what I was thinking.
We started out pretty high here at the top. Now we're gonna bring it down a little bit.
Bring it way down.
How's it going, man?
No, I mean, when I had the opportunity to come on and wish you guys, and just an amazing achievement, 100 episodes of the podcast. I mean, there's no way you could have imagined 3 years ago or whatever you're going to get to this point, and you're just going to have all these amazing guests, and then you're going to have the bottom of the barrel me, of course. I mean, sometimes you got to scrape the bottom.
Well, I mean, as they say, you can't have any sunny days without some rainy days.
Ironically, I know we kid around, but ironically, Dan is the reason why this podcast probably exists. Because I would have never met Steven. Steven would have never met me without Dan. So in a way, he's kind of the generator of all this. You know what I mean? The maker of it, really.
We let him. We'll let him take credit for it. It's
yeah,
fine.
take a bow, really.
Well, the thing is, I'll tell you what. I was looking for a couple guys that I thought seemed to be knowledgeable about movies, and we're going to do the top 5 weekly, and it just ended up being a year and a half of the three of us with an occasional fourth person, or me replacing one of you guys with somebody else, or whatever. And then I did it a little bit after you guys left. But the thing about these types of shows, these types of top 5 ranking shows, or whatever type of show, you get to learn about people. You get to learn about their sensibilities when it comes to movies. And I really learned a lot about you guys. And it made a lot of sense because you guys learned about each other. And obviously that for lack of a better word, a love affair ended up being to where you guys have been doing this for quite a while on your own without me. And I don't have any resentment or any of that stuff because
I hope not.
I watch you guys every week. I watch / listen to you guys every week without fail, no matter how busy, if I have 5 press screenings in a week or how many 20 reviews I got to write or whatever, I still make time to listen to Chasing Labels.
I know you do, man. I know. We appreciate that. We always me and you try to talk as regular as we can, and you always let me know that you watch you're listening, you like this, you like that, or you didn't like this. And that's cool. I mean, I appreciate the commitment. You're like a proud dad, and you started with us and then you let us off and we started our own thing.
Yeah, my sons are doing great. My two boys. I love my 2
guys,
boys.
The funny thing is it's pretty close. Dan is like 50. You just turned 50. So
well, January.
Yeah. So technically, you're pretty close.
Yeah,
my dad's about to turn 55.
We keep getting older.
So.
Yeah.
But Michael Brook did pop back and he said all the credit to guest producer Wayne McGinn, whose baby it was, and to Sam and John, which I'm hoping I can get Sam and John to pop in here. They might be too late for them.
They may be a little busy. They all kind of
might be that
company.
busy, or it might be too late for them. But for keeping the
that
faith,
is
when it's
the thing
clearly
with the time zones, maybe a little difficult for people. But of course, we always appreciate any time that's made for guests now and before. But Dan, how are things going when it comes to the movie screenings and the reviews,
the critic work, and all that stuff?
Well, like I said, I had 5 screenings last week. I got 3 this week. I did Fast X, Little Mermaid, Joyride.
God bless you.
Joyride. Fast X was incredible. Little Mermaid, I really enjoyed. Joyride is going to be the surprise of the summer. I'm telling you guys, you got to want to see Joyride. Also, oh God, absolutely abysmal. The new You Hurt My Feelings. You literally hurt my feelings, Julie Louis-Dreyfus and Nicole Hoff-Center. That movie is awful. Absolutely awful. I heard bad reviews out of Sundance, and I was like, nah, it can't be that bad. It's Nicole Hoff-Center. It's Julie Louis-Dreyfus. There's no way. Oh, my God. I want to poke my eyes out. And then actually halfway decent, I know, is Gerard Butler in Kandahar. Halfway decent. Pretty, he's doing these things that they're kind of going to the radar, Gerard Butler, but they're not awful movies. They're decent movies, 3.5 star movies. They're not like.
I could see one day there being a good Gerard Butler box set of like his like underrated movies.
Well, the thing is, I mean, he's hit that niche now where he's just doing these kind of action roles, and they're entertaining.
He's the new Liam Neeson now.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, they kind of did it at the same time, but Liam Neeson's kind of
Gerard Butler is younger, and he's doing more, I guess, different roles. Like he's doing like the
Greenland and
like stuff
Kandahar.
And Olympus is following.
I did see Plane, where he's literally the pilot of a plane, but he's also a super badass, and that's the type of roles that he's kind of centered in, where he's like a hidden
what was
badass.
that, Machine Gun Preacher?
Well, that's who was in that? Was that him?
He's in that. That's him.
Okay.
Preacher. Yeah.
He's getting. I think Andrew's getting mixed up with the Machine Gun Bum with.
Are you talking about Hobo with the Shotgun?
Hobo with the Shotgun.
No, the late great Rutger Hauer, kicking ass.
Yeah, but I know you were messaging me and Andrew today. The first screenings of Killers of the Flower Moon came out, and of course you haven't. I don't think you've seen it yet, but of course you're super pumped because you're like the #1 Scorsese fan that I know. So how excited are you about the reviews coming out?
Oh, I'll tell you what, it's like Christmas come early for me because these reviews are nothing but great. Of course, the reviews can be a little bit misleading. People are giving it 4 stars on Letterboxd, not 5 like they should be giving it. But I love the press conference with the whole crew, and they really delved into what this means to the Native American community, especially this traumatically hit Osage Native American nation, and filming a movie there and getting the people, the Osage members like Sitting Bear or something. The chief was on the panel and getting them as extras and getting how they made the blankets and how they made the clothes. And I mean, they're all involved in the background of this movie. This is really a all hands on board film and project for the Osage Nation. Yeah. And to me, I cannot be happy enough for these people. Native American people in general have really been persecuted for hundreds of years, and they're getting their comeuppance where they're the ones that are starting to get their land back. Stories are starting to get told.
Yeah. I was going to say, there's been a lot of indigenous stories being told now on television, as well as, in movies and whatnot. And it's really the culture is really starting to be put on screen, and it's starting to be made and starring people who are of that culture. Whereas, you watch a Western from the 1940s and Native Americans may be played by white people. And it's like that's the way it was at the time. It's
also
unfortunate.
that great documentary that CIP put out about the Canadian natives up there that almost had their
documentary.
Land. Yeah, that documentary. Yeah, that was really great. A piece of history that I didn't know about.
And it got a 9-minute standing ovation at Festival de Cannes, and they're rave reviews for Leonardo DiCaprio, Lily Gladstone as his wife, and Robert De Niro as the villain. There's some. They changed the book. The book Killers of the Flower Moon by David, I can't think of his name. Something Graham. Now I forget the guy's name. I read the book, but they kind of went in a different direction with it. Instead of making an FBI story, they made it from the point of view of the people. The Native Americans and the people that were involved with those people back in the 1920s. So the main character played by Jesse Plemons isn't as big a part of the film as if you read the book. He's kind of like the main guy in the book.
And initially DiCaprio was playing that character, and then they flopped it over. Now he's playing the son of Robert De Niro's character.
Nephew of Robert De Niro.
A nephew,
And I'm not going to say nothing because I don't want to give anything away. I want people to go into this movie fresh. October 6th, it comes out. I'm hearing people 12 Oscar nominations right now. Obviously, the movie premiered yesterday.
Too early.
That's
It's
really
way too early.
it's going to be a long wait though. October seems so far away.
It's so far away.
So far away.
But I'm excited. I'm excited. I am a
the trailer's out for it right now.
Yeah, like you've said, Dan, and it's like a birthday present. Like when a Scorsese film's coming out, you get really excited for it. As much as I have my reservations about The Irishman, it was amazing going to the theater to see that epic. I like the experience of his. I remember going to the cinema to see Wolf of Wall Street with my brother. Like his movies are always an event. So I am excited. It will be one that I tell my wife, you're watching the baby.
I saw Silence in the theater.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
And it was only me and I don't know, 8 other people. Not a lot of people went to the theater to see that movie, but it was quite an experience.
Yep.
Quite an experience.
Definitely.
I remember, I think I saw a Wolf of Wall Street on Christmas and the place was packed full of people.
Yeah. I think I saw like New Year's Day. New Year's Day, was it 2013? I think.
As you guys know, I've been watching Scorsese films for 40 years, and
since you were 5, or 10 years old.
6 years old, since I was 6 years old, and so he really is my favorite director. I love the fact that this is kind of like the closest thing we've ever seen him do to a Western, and so I'll take it because I've been wanting Scorsese to do a Western for years and years, and I guess this 1920s is the closest we're gonna get,
Yeah, it's more like it's like Prohibition,
100 years ago. Yeah, Prohibition. Yeah. The formation of the FBI. J. Edgar Hoover was really young at this point.
Yeah, I would say even closer historically would be Gangs of New York, because I think that took place in the late 1890s or something like that, towards the late 19th century. So it's closer to the times of the Old West, really. But obviously, Gangs of New York was set in the urban setting, and that's kind of like, it's a gangster film, but it is a bit of a Western-y type of vibe where you just got outlaws running amok, doing whatever they want, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, that reminded me more of like a Deadwood. Did Gangs of New York in a way? I had a feel of a Deadwood in a way.
It did.
But Deadwood's a great Western, so I mean.
Yeah, Deadwood is a great Western series. If people haven't seen that, check that out. Check it out while it's still available on HBO Max, because you never know if they're going to take that off. For all we know.
Yeah. But Dan, I appreciate you popping in and talking with us, man.
Hey, man. When I got the opportunity to come back and talk to you guys on your 100th anniversary episode, I jumped at the opportunity because I love you guys to death, and I can't wait to see you guys do 100 more episodes and get bigger and bigger.
Oh God, why does everybody want us to do 100 more of these?
I know,
Jesus.
damn.
So many. I'm thinking one episode at a time, guys.
All right.
Could end any moment now. But Dan, I appreciate you coming on, man. I'll talk to you with you. I know Andrew cuts himself off. He only watches movies when he's at home.
That's true. When I wake, by the time since I wake up till the time I go to sleep, it's all movies all the time.
But I'll talk to you later, Dan. Man, I appreciate it.
All right, good seeing you guys.
See you around. Good to see you, man. All right. Well, we're getting. They keep coming in single file.
They're coming in hot.
We got another guest coming up. Before I want to pop in a comment from film blogger Sam, man. I love his channel, man. Hey guys, congrats on 100 shows. You've accompanied me on many commutes. Every success moving forward, guys. Appreciate it, man. I appreciate
Thank
that
you
comment.
Very much.
Some smiles. And hey guys, thank you for all the amazing episodes. You've been the soundtrack for my early morning commutes. Big love from across the pond. Awesome.
We do get a lot of love overseas.
I appreciate that. They love us here. No.
Yeah.
But one guy we really love, and I hope he loves us too, is a guy is from I would say my go-to place to buy movies in physical media. That's Mark. That's Orbit. It's
nice.
Hey, it's Orbit.
Oh my goodness.
One tentacle of Orbit right here. Yes. And I'm going to be a dissenting view. I do not want y'all to go another 100 episodes. Forget it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's fine.
Stop
That's fine.
now.
It's whatever.
Stop. Quit while you're ahead. That's what the
100's a good
say.
number. That's a good number.
200 new episodes. That's what I want.
Oh shit! Damn it. We'll do them all at
Congratulations,
once.
guys. This is great. You guys are awesome. And, like the last time I was on, like so many people came in the store, emailed me, messaged me saying, "Hey, I heard you on the podcast and stuff." So it's great. It's great.
Fantastic, man. We love your place. I got to get Andrew to fly down there just to go to your place.
I think about it a lot too. Well,
yeah.
I'm on the
dream
website
of
every
orbit.
day. Yeah, I'm literally every day. So it's
yeah,
like
yeah. Well, it's a nightmare. My dreams of orbit are nightmares, basically. Just wake up in a sweat.
Well, one thing we got to ask about. I got to ask you about, since since the last time we saw you, you guys started doing pre-orders over there. How's that going?
Yeah.
How's all the pre-order stuff going?
Oh, I think there
No,
was a
no.
reason why.
It's been absolutely incredible. It has, and we really didn't know what to expect from it, so we kind of started small, and it just exploded out of the gate. And it's just thank all our customers who have jumped on that. And it doesn't really, because we thought that maybe that, okay, say that we get say 1,000 copies of something. 500 would immediately go to pre-orders, and then the other 500 go to people waiting for it to come out, live. But it hasn't. It's like we got a pre-order group of people, and then still bonkers when we put the product on the website live too. So it's been a lot of we have some space issues. We're in a very high rent market. We actually own our building or our spot, but it's not really built for what we're doing. So we've been very creative as far as stashing the pre-orders and things like that as well. So but we're figuring it out, and I can say on our end it's gone great. Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, that's the one thing I was thinking about, was that not only what you were talking about with the allotments, like how much are you going to be able to have pre and then afterwards, but it sounds like that's working out even better. Like it's allowing people to lock in something they really want, and then afterwards they're still going to be able to get it, and you guys.
Yeah, and also gives people a chance to, because we're running into some situations where there's some extremely limited pre-orders. A good example is one we just sold out of this weekend when we went live with it, which is the Via Vision Wolf Creek set that came out. Had a beautiful lenticular cover. But we had to cap it at a certain amount of people, and we made the other half of it live. But it gave people the opportunity to, I understand if people don't want to do pre-orders money wise, or most people I think are waiting to see what the specs are, or what the packaging is, what the special features are, and stuff like that. But like in the case of like a Wolf Creek, we if you wanted it, you had that opportunity to get it. And that's been fantastic. It really has opened up a whole bunch of people that maybe would order from us a couple of times here and there, maybe to fill out their collection and stuff. They're just pre-ordering like daily sometimes. I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah, Ryan wants you to know. Ryan from Disconnected says, "I hope Mark is taking good care of my paychecks, because I sure as hell am not."
now that I do a Instagram live every Thursday, and I had to say this last Thursday because we've had a couple instances recently where, I basically had to say don't collect outside of your means. Don't sacrifice the baby formula money or the gas money or the rent money or whatever. It's like there's so many different levels of collecting. You could spend $10 this month. You could spend $1,000 this month, so just don't, if you're a bit of a money crunch, it'll get better for you, and you'll have that opportunity,
I think it's just how the market is. Some of these labels are really good at making this stuff hard to want to miss out on.
Yeah, they make it very appealing, appealing. Like you were just saying, like whether it's a lenticular cover, whether it's a box set, whether it's this amazing artwork, whether it's super limited because they put out the number saying 1,500 copies, 1,000 copies, and if you have the fear of missing out, if you're just that much of a anxious person like many of us are as collectors, you don't want to miss out on it, because the alternative, where if you miss out on it, the prices just skyrocket on the third market and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, very fortunate, where I do say this to a lot of people, that if something does sell out, Orbit will get their shipment, but you gotta pay attention to your Instagram page,
Yeah.
Facebook, the website, all those things. You guys update it every single day
Right.
about what you're getting in.
And I think what's happening now is we're being known as a place that's going after it. You know, we're you know, like, okay, this is running out. We're going to try to grab as many copies as we possibly can to make them available for everybody out there. So I think we're starting to get that reputation of, like, you know, being maybe the last place to look, which is, you know, of course, I'll always want to be the first place to look, but, you know, like, I'm happy that we're an option for people, period. But you know, like we want to be the last place to have these things in stock, you know, and, you know, sometimes they can't happen, like, say, Vinegar Syndrome partner label, but like, you know, like other items, especially foreign items, you know, we've had a pretty good luck of, like, being able to find another source for something and then bringing in a few more flats of it to help people out. So,
yeah, you guys do a great job at keeping the imports, like, consistently, you know, and I think the shipping has gotten better recently too, especially. So, I mean, is the
Australia? No, I agree with that, man. Like, you know, like England and Germany has always been pretty solid as far as shipping.
It's Australia has been the tough one.
Australia's been tough. It's not really so much the shipping from Australia, although we had a wonderful shipment that went to Alaska for a few days last week, and then just you know, it was just taking a cruise basically around the Pacific Rim, I think, before it hit us. But the issue, and, you know, I need to listen to your one you did with Umbrella a couple weeks ago, but, like, the issue is, I think, in Australia, is the fact that everything's made in the country. You know, they don't outsource any of the printing or the manufacturing to, you know, Southeast Asia or India or anything like that. So, you know, I think that sometimes causes some delays out there. And you know, like, you know, and I can't confirm any of that, to be honest, but that's my assumption, because I did ask questions. I'm like going, hey, is this being outsourced to, you know, Malaysia or something like that? They said, no, it's all, pretty much everything in Australia is made in Australia. So, you know, I don't know if that's a law there involved, or the fact that, you know, like I said, I don't know, but anyway, yeah, it does take some time from Australia sometimes, but
it does.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we're working on, you know, and once again, I don't want to jinx anything, but we're working on some other, you know, Pacific countries out there too, maybe bringing in, and we'll see how that goes. You know, it could be months late. You know, as far as that goes.
Well, you guys are doing a great job, man. And what are some, you know, as a, you know, I know you everybody knows Mark as being the head of, you know, the face of Orbit DVDs, but as collecting your, I know you don't collect as much as we do, because essentially you have the collection. It's the store. But is there any particular releases that you just see coming out soon that you're like, I kind of want that one for myself?
Like, hands down, the Wicker Man set just looks
okay.
I mean, I might actually, you know, double dip on that one personally. I can afford it, I guess. I don't know the store, but yeah, I mean, like, both sets look incredible. Like, and I'm not much of a steelbook guy, but, like, that artwork on that steelbook is like, it knocked us flat. It did. So that one in particular, I'm really excited about. The sort of the I forgot the exact title for the Arrow Spaghetti Western set coming out. It's got some Django ripoffs on there.
There it is, right there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's awesome. Anything Spaghetti Western, I'll pick up as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, but there's an Arrow set coming out in a couple of months. I'll definitely be taking that one home.
Okay.
Yeah. So
somebody knows something. Is this already public? Is this already public, or you know something we don't?
No, he's talking about the set we talked about.
You talking about the Western set? The Western.
This is a Western set.
Italian Westerns. Yes.
Yeah. I forgot the what they call it, the title of it, but yeah,
it's a bloody trail. Or
I've seen maybe half of them. You know,
isn't it called like Blood and Money?
Blood Money. Yeah.
Blood Money.
Yeah, Blood Money. That's it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Other than that, you know, we keep hearing the long down the road rumors about you know, like the Hitcher and Near Dark and, you know, things like that.
We're still waiting. I think Second Sight's still getting that together.
Yeah, you know, it could still be like a very late fourth quarter title, but, you know, we'll see what happens there. I just picked up you know, my favorite release of the year so far is probably the Hopping Mad, the Eureka.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, unofficially the Mr. Vampire 2 through, I think 5. I think there's 4 films on there.
I got to get that too. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. It's like, I'm a huge fan of those things, and that's kind of my wheelhouse. I just like really silly Asian films, and you know, especially anything with a horror element, I'm in basically. So very excited about that one.
Fantastic, man. Well, Mark, I don't want to take in much more of your time. You just had a busy day, I'm sure, at work.
Well, actually, just repairing 8-tracks today. That's kind of my Sunday activity.
Yeah.
So it's
but of course, as always, man, we appreciate your partnership. Us working together, and
yes, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, and hopefully we do maybe another coupon code or something in the future for everybody, and
for the summertime coming up and whatnot.
Yeah.
For everyone listening, go to Orbit DVD, take a look around. They've got tons of things on there, and
video games too. If you're in town, I don't. Are you doing video games online?
Well, we were having some issues with that because like that, it's funny seeing the different types of media having different types of marketplaces, and like whenever we put stuff on for video games, we get picked out, we get picked to death. Yeah. And unlike the movie business that is more of a new release fueled industry, video games, of course, is a used, field industry. Everybody wants the Pokemon games from, Game Boy and things like that. So we're still kind of figuring that out. We do have some select stuff on there right now. The books have really picked up. We in addition to like just any wacky film reference book we could find, we carry anything just what we consider interesting, anywhere from like 19th century medical book type things to serial killers to like there's a lot of Wiccan stuff and whatnot. So and also if y'all live around the Asheville, North Carolina area, or you're visiting, I mean we're a physical store too. So it's a physical store with physical media, as I like to say.
Fantastic, man. I got to get back up there. I got some stuff I need to trade into or get some credit for. But
I don't want. Well, I'm not gonna say I don't want anything because I'll buy anything. But like
you don't want any more. I
think we just talked about
Child's Play. Maybe has been a little bit played out. And what was the other one we got here? I forgot. This is one that like every week we're like going, okay, everybody's upgrading, which is great.
Yeah.
That's another thing fueling the market right now. Is
honestly, most of what I need to turn into things that I don't feel like I want anymore. So they're not necessarily upgrades, problems that I'm changing in. It's just because I don't do a ton of upgrading. A lot of my collection's Blu-rays. So
I mean, honestly, it comes down to the mastering. If they're pulling the Blu-ray and the 4K from the same master, to me personally, I can't tell too much of a difference. But
but before you leave, also thanks again for the contribution to the Shelf Shock Awards. You contribute. You gave us that fantastic Sony box set. And so thanks for doing that. And that was amazing. Yeah. So. But Mark, we'll let you go, man, and thanks for joining us.
And congratulations again, guys. This is great. And I was just joking about the don't do another 100. I mean, just keep as long as you're still passionate about it, keep going as long as you want. This is great. So
I think no matter how long the show goes on, there will be some form of us with our voices out there. Like like I don't see myself ever not wanting to talk about movies or talk about Blu-rays online in some way. But we'll see.
This is such a big part of my life. This is literally my life. So I couldn't live without it.
So Andrew's life is hanging in my balance because So if I just said this was it, he might be done. He might just be like,
gotcha.
Life is over. Yeah. But we'll talk to you later, Mark.
All right. Y'all have a great day.
You too.
All right. Thank you.
And there's Mark McLeod, man. Orbit DVD. And we got more waiting in the wings. They just keep coming in, man. Coming from Spain.
I can't see any of them.
He doesn't know who's coming.
So I don't know who's popping in and out.
You don't know. Well, can you guess? He comes from Spain. He comes from Spain, and we had him on recently.
Oh man.
Uh-oh.
No, my mind's complete blank. I have no idea.
It is Adrian Martin. What's up, man?
That's who I thought it was. Oh, I should have said it.
Hi guys, how are you?
Oh, fantastic. How you doing?
Doing good.
Appreciate you taking the time to talk with us a little bit here.
Yeah. Well, it's quite a milestone. Your 100th show. That's great.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. And so how's things been going since? I know it hasn't been that long. It's been maybe a couple months,
like 2 months or so.
2 months maybe. Or so. But how's things been going?
Yeah, pretty good. In fact, I got a few more gigs doing DVD work, sort of a commentary on a Max Ophuls film, which just came out. called There's No Tomorrow. And that was a very exciting, very wonderful assignment. I was very glad to get that from Kino Lorber.
Nice.
And another piece that I've done with my partner Cristina Alvarez is once again with Kino Lorber. They who are doing a series with Metrograph in New York, a series of new releases, and they're doing Ho Xiaoshen's Millennium Mambo.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I saw people buzzing about that release coming up.
Yeah, it's a a restoration of the film, in terms of its image quality and sound quality, and Christina and I have done a video essay for that, an audio visual essay. In fact, it's based on one we did 8 years ago actually.
Yeah.
But we've done a totally new version of it for the Kino Lorber Metrograph release.
Fantastic.
So that was great to get those bits of work.
That's great, man. That's great. How's everything else going for you in just general? Like, are you getting it? What's the most recent watch you've had? Let's ask that.
Most recent watch. Let's see. I managed to catch up with a film that I was finding it very hard to find, but it's out on a French DVD, which is a film called Coma. No relation to Michael Crichton's Coma from the 80s or the 70s, whenever that was. No, this is Coma by Bertrand Bonello, who's a guy who, apart from everything else that Bonello's done, he made one of the last films with Helmut Berger. Who of course has recently left the world, and Berger was in the Saint Laurent, the Yves Saint Laurent biopic that Bonello made in about 2014, and Bonello is a fascinating director. He made Nocturama, which is a sort of a social commentary kind of modern action film. He's a guy who sort of takes from both the American genre tradition and the European and Asian art cinema tradition. And he made this film Coma. He made it during lockdown. And it's like a totally cheap film, basically, shot in one or two rooms. It stars his daughter, his teenage daughter. And it's about her sort of fascination with influences and things on the internet, right? And it's about this strange world we all spiraled into during the lockdown, where we were kind of living with our computers and relating to our computers. And then it sort of takes off from there. And there are different kinds of, there's animation in it. There's, the live footage of Anna Bonello and her computer and her toys, her gadgets, and so on. It's a fascinating film, and there are like fantasy scenes or dream sequences in it, and everything starts to get deliberately mixed up. The different levels of what's on the computer, what's in her head, what's in reality, kind of get mixed up. The film's it's hardly 70 minutes long. And obviously didn't cost much to make, but it's a fascinating response to the whole, lockdown years. And a kind of a documentation of them. And that's a film that hasn't actually traveled the world much. It was released in France, and as I say, it's out on a French DVD. And but I hope that's a film that travels a bit more and gets a proper release with English subtitles and stuff, because I think a lot of people would be very interested by this film.
Yeah, it sounds great. It makes me. What's that, Andrew? What's that movie we talked about from the partner labels with the girl that has the camera that's on the webcam?
I'm gonna look it up.
How the world end. Like, somebody please in the chat.
Like
at the World's Fair.
Yeah, something.
Something at the World's Fair.
Right. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah. What is it? We're all going to the World's Fair.
Yeah. I'll go to the World's Fair, I think is what it's called, and it's about that girl who does that web show, that she's part of that online horror thing, and it's trying to make scary images online, and kind of how she gets lost in that and like.
Well, yeah, it is an exploration of kind of the, our online culture and its like its fixation on, our lives, you know what I mean? It's called We're All Going to the World's Fair.
Yeah,
That's what it's called.
Mm.
Directed by Jane Schoenbrunn. And
it's her debut,
and it's just very much about kind of living your life solely through your online presence, which is a very interesting thing because as the generations go along, I feel as if the younger and younger kids are being online more, whether their parents are putting them on social media, doing trendy dances, doing trendy things, whether it's TikTok or Instagram or whatnot. And so, like, we're being introduced to the internet much, much younger. So that becomes part of our lives intrinsically so early. And especially for teenagers, it becomes very much a source of finding their identity. And then is that their identity, or is it just them creating false personas and then believing those false personas? And it does delve into that a lot. What's interesting is when you mentioned Coma, it reminded me a lot of a recent film with Willem Dafoe called Inside, where he is a thief who is infiltrating someone's kind of apartment, like grand apartment, trying to break into a safe, and he triggers the security system and it locks him inside, and he's just in there by himself, no contact really with the outside world, and he's trying to survive. And of course, it does bring up that idea of isolation and kind of how your mind can start dwindling as you go along. And in a way that does play into the COVID thing where people were locked in for quite a while. And depending on your country or your area, the restrictions were whatever they may be.
Dan hated We're All Going to the World's Fair. He just wanted to let us know.
Oh, well, thanks, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dan.
I'll say that movie is not for everyone, but it's very subtle in its depiction of that. But it just, like you're saying, making a film during the kind of height of COVID about the COVID times was something that was very trendy during that time.
And then there was
because it was also limited. Because
then there was that Netflix movie with the comedian that did that called Inside of
Bo Burnham.
Bo Burnham, yeah, he did that whole his mental health throughout the pandemic kind of thing.
Right. Well, that was his way of kind of, I guess, cathartically going through the COVID, time and whatnot, and trying to kind of make some type of mental sense of that, but also kind of showing the mental breakdown of it all. You know what I mean? Specifically from the perspective of people who were already dealing with mental issues, with mental health issues, and what that impact would be adding another layer on top of their lives. Fascinating kind of delving into that.
You know, another film that can be related to this sort of group of lockdown films is The Eternal Daughter, which I recently caught up with, the Joanna Hogg film, because, it's basically one large house, mansion, hotel, essentially one actor, which is Tilda Swinton, and a few other, actors with small roles in the thing. But, and I think it was very much Joanna Hogg sort of, in this moment of the pandemic, thinking, what's the film with the least amount of elements that I can make, but where I can really control the elements and stylize the elements and so on. And I found that quite a fascinating film by her.
Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, I did. I saw that film, and it was very good. Tilda Swinton, exquisite actress.
I love her.
Really great.
Yeah.
And this film is kind of also dealing with an extra layer of processing kind of grief and past loss and things like that, which adds another layer onto the isolation of it all, because grief can be very isolating. It is something that we try to process on our own, and we some people process it in different ways than others. So that's very, very fascinating.
Before we let you go, what are some of the most recent? You got some of your most recent essay work or article stuff that you've done that you would like to promote or anything?
Well, just recently, I've sort of started working on a new book, which I'm doing with
Okay.
my partner Christina, and it'll be of interest to some of your watchers and listeners, because it's a book on Brian De Palma.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be part of a hopefully a trio of books, all about De Palma in various ways. And one of them is a book of interviews, translated from the French, a French book of interviews with Brian De Palma. And then there'll be the more discussion analysis of the films, which is what Christina and I are doing, because for years and years, whenever we get a chance, we give lectures on De Palma's work, and at summer schools of film analysis and all this kind of stuff that we do, and writing. We've written quite a lot on Brian De Palma, and so that's you heard it here first. That
fantastic!
Book,
yes,
is in the works.
Awesome. Yeah, I think De Palma is somebody that we definitely, I think there needs to be some reevaluating of some of his films. There needs to be some real looks at some of his lesser films that maybe people kind of pushed away at the time. Fantastic. He's a fascinating filmmaker, and I'll be looking forward to that, man. That's great. That's great. But we have to let you go. They're piling up, man. They're really, the guests are piling up.
They're breaking down your doors to get on your show.
Virtually
like a zombie situation here.
Yeah, but Adrian, thank you for taking the time and talking with us for a little bit.
Yeah, no, look, I love the work you do, and I hope you do another 100 episodes.
Everybody keeps using 100. Jesus Christ. Fine, we'll do 100. All right. All right, Adrian. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Have a good one. All right. Before we bring on the next guest, a couple catch-ups here. Josephine talks about some first watches here. Page of Madness, 1926. Songs from the Second Floor, 2000. A lot of first watches here. I have to look at this one. I have to look at that closer, Josephine.
I'll say this. The Celebration, I believe, is that film that's released by Criterion that was...
yes.
Yeah, part of Dogma 95.
Yes, definitely. And then she also says, of course, I love the podcast so much. You guys inspire me greatly. Thank you, Josephine. If there's anything we can do, we hopefully make people interested in film. And
that's
the main purpose.
That is the kind of the heart of it all, is to not only talk about movies, but get other people interested in the movies that we talk about.
Most definitely.
Or have them even venture out to their own interests.
Most definitely. All right. So we got to get this in. In fact, I don't want to make people wait too long. So we were talking about him earlier.
I'm knocking things over.
One half of the guys from Indicator, John.
Hey.
Oh
Morrissey.
my goodness!
Hey.
I wasn't expecting.
What's
that.
up, man?
Congratulations.
He's drinking. I got
don't
water.
I don't normally drink. I don't normally drink, but for this particular occasion, I think it's only right I have a small glass of red wine.
Well, you know what? I don't believe you, because I remember the first time we talked, you said you were heading to a bar afterwards. So I know you drink a lot.
Oh, wow. Your memory is far too good for me.
No, I'm sorry.
That's right. That's correct.
I didn't remember that until you just said it, Stephen, but you're correct.
Yeah,
it's okay. You're drinking. You're at home. You're drinking responsibly. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and it's 11 o'clock at night, so I think
you might as well get a nice buzz before you lay down. But thank you for taking the time, man. I know we made you wait in the back for a minute, but thanks for taking the time. How's everything going over at Indicator, man? You guys got things rolling good now?
Rolling is the right word. You've used
Rollin.
Rollin. Yeah. So we've done our first UHDs, which took a while to get there, but the response has been fantastic. And UHD is certainly for us going forward it's part of all our negotiations now, where we can, to get some UHD rights, because the response has been amazing.
Yeah.
So as always, these things seem to take a little bit longer, but we've had a couple of delays with our titles for next month, but that just goes with the territory, I'm afraid. Mexico Macabre, which all these Mexican films that we've released, we've got a whole new audience of people that have come from that. So thank you to everybody who supported those little dipped our toe in the water with the Mexican films, as you know, and yeah, it's proving to be very successful.
That's great.
And we're just constantly looking at doing more and more deals for new pictures to keep you guys happy and keep your podcast going. Because obviously, if we don't sell any deals, your podcast won't happen. So we understand
yeah.
that.
If you gotta stop making stuff, we don't have
Yeah.
nothing to do
What
anymore.
would you do?
That's very true.
Yeah, what would you do? Yeah,
We
what
are-
would you do?
We are at the
Well,
whims of the boutique.
I mean, we
labels.
could just start talking about stuff we have already. I guess. I mean, that would take a while. But John, we had Michael Brook on a little earlier, and I mentioned something to him that he said that maybe you guys you'll have a better answer for me, because he was like, I'm not really involved in that. The slim cases for the 4Ks. What was the strategy behind going with that slimmer packaging?
We looked around like we always do, look at the rest of the market, see what they're doing, and then we talked to our manufacturer, and it just seemed like the right fit to us. A bit like, when we first started 7 years ago, that the Scanavo boxes, which not everybody uses, but some people use them, they seem to be the right fit, and everybody seemed to agree with that one. And I think this one was a similar, just it's like a gut feel in a way. You just get the box there and you put it all together and you think, yeah, that's the way it should be. You don't always get it right, but I think perhaps
I love it. I mean, what it does is it really like makes your 4K releases stand apart. Like
it differentiates
different than everything else.
Yeah, it differentiates from the Blu-ray. The Blu-rays on your shelf, because you can tell, that's the 4K edition of that, without having to take it and look to see what the discs are, look at the back where it says 4K,
and it helps with shelf space.
That's also a premium. That's also a premium.
Yeah. No, you're right, Andrew. It definitely distinguishes it from the Blu-ray, most definitely, and that was one thing we were very keen to do. And obviously, as we keep seeing on all the forums and all these Facebook pages, all these people want more shelf space, and obviously that helps a little bit, I suppose. So,
it does, man. It does.
The Michael J. Murphy box set probably went to a bit of extreme, but that was.
It needed it. It needed it.
Putting 30 films into a box set.
Honestly, I would have preferred like at least another inch.
I guess
that's what she said.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right, okay.
We talked with Michael Brook about the complexities behind that set. I know the last time we had you on, you guys were in the midst of just trying to make that happen, and it did finally, of course, come out. But we were talking to Michael Brook about just the technical weight of that set, trying to go through all of the material and trying to put things together and all that kind of stuff. Would you say it was one of the more difficult releases that you've done since you guys have started?
Oh, yeah, I think it is most definitely the toughest release ever. Just the whole process started. I think when we did your podcast, I think we might have mentioned, I went down to pick these masters up in the first year of our when we first started Powerhouse.
Yeah.
So it's been, it's obviously, it was Sam's pet project, really. He knew some of the people involved in along with everybody, with Michael. So, yeah, it just made sense. But, yeah, I think even for him, the task proved to be quite phenomenal, and having to put it all through the BBFC, and just, you just don't realise at the time, how time consuming that is. So, for us to go from, we didn't just put it back a month, we put it back like 3 months, 4 months. So that was the kind of, that's never generally the way it works with Powerhouse, in the case that we ever put it back more than that long.
Before we let you go, man, anything that you can tease, anything that you're able to, because last time you teased some stuff.
You're so cheeky, you boys.
Yeah,
I know, man. I know.
We will be discussing.
You don't have to say anything. You don't have to say anything. I like to ask. If you don't have anything to say, it's fine.
Michael Brook did tease that there are more Jean Rollin stuff on the way.
There is.
I think people have been quite wise now as to the numbering on the sides of the packages. Maybe gives away those things.
Yeah, I can give you a little tease, because there's been a little gap from the noirs, so we're just about to pop another little box set up on the noirs, and we'll be announcing that very soon. And then we're gonna go into here's a little scoop. Listen, you guys, we love you, so we'll give you a little bit of a scoop. We've got some 6 or 7 Australian movies,
Oh, okay.
which will be of great interest. And when you see the titles, I think you'll go, wow. And it's
Okay.
all UHD, so
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
so lots of hard
Fully
work involved
diving
as
into
well.
format. Yeah, I know you. I know Indicator's been new. You know, we guys have delved into some Australian films before. I think of Road Games because I know I snagged
Yes,
that release just as it was about to go out of
Mad
print. I
Dog
got
Morgan,
limited
yeah.
of that. So there is a precedent already set at Indicator for some Australian
Well,
stuff.
I think anything goes at Indicator. We know that. We know
Yeah, that's
anything
also
goes.
true.
Yeah, and you know the thing is that Road Games and Mad Dog Morgan, and you know they sold out in terms of the limited edition the quickest. I mean, it was just incredible how well they did. So
I have so when Mad Dog Morgan was starting to go, I was at a doctor's appointment and I was literally in the examination room, like making an order for it before it went out of print because I didn't want to miss out on it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate the tease, man. I'm super excited about that. That's Australian films.
Excited.
Yes, definitely. But John,
Yeah.
please finish your wine.
I will.
Yeah, don't forget about that wine. It's still there.
No, it's still there. Yeah.
But I know it's late, man, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
No, it's a pleasure to do it. You guys do some amazing work, and it's great that you're such a great supporter of this wonderful industry that we're in, this cottage industry, and you're probably the two best promoters of that certainly of the podcast that we've seen. So we thank you for that.
If you guys want to start paying us, we'll
Steven, stop it.
I was trying. No. I'm just kidding.
We were getting compliments. Now he's going to hate us.
No. God damn it! Don't hate me, John, please. But no, you see my stuff coming in, man. I got you.
Yeah,
man.
I know. I got my stuff from your recent sale, which was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all awesome stuff. Everybody out there, support Indicator.
Yeah, please support Indicator. They do great work. And John, please, we'll talk soon. Maybe in the next couple months we'll hook back up and do it again.
And good luck with the rest of the show.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Cheers.
All right, that was John Morrissey from Indicator. Dude, this is getting crazy, man. They got so many people waiting behind. I feel so bad. I'm making people wait. God, who do I get? Who did I bring in next?
Now you have to divvy up the
I'm
time.
about to do 2 people at a time in a minute, but we're gonna do one more. We're gonna do. Let's see. Here we go.
Steven's the decider. He's like the bouncer.
Look at this guy right here. It's the Terminator.
Hold on, let me turn my shit down. Hold on.
Oh, no.
It's the Terminator. Look at this.
Nice.
He's got the glasses on.
Yeah.
Where did he go? I bring him on and he leaves. What the hell is this?
He's coming back.
I had to turn the music down, man.
Thing is, I couldn't even hear it.
It was loud. It was loud.
Oh, awesome.
What's up, man?
What's going on?
Oh, just I thought we would have more time. We would be spreading this out and we would be talking Blu-rays and then people would pop in. Fucking, we got a line out the door right now.
It's like
great. It's
like the coolest club in town, I guess.
Yeah,
Nice.
man, it's awesome. I appreciate you.
It's a Sunday afternoon. I have a bar in my backyard, so I'm
nice.
just chilling, having a beer, celebrating your 100th episode.
Yes,
nice.
I wish I had alcohol. I don't have any. I just have a bottle of water.
I've been drinking soda this whole time.
I mean, everybody that you've interviewed, it looks like it's all dark there. Like I want it light and nice.
Well, I think we have one person waiting in the wings. It's daytime there. Scott Saslow, what's up, man?
Hey.
Who's Scott with?
Scott, he is a graphic designer.
Nice.
I work a lot on titles for Arrow and Kino Lorber, mostly layouts, booklets.
Fantastic.
I just wrapped up work more or less on the Bruce Lee set. Touched up 100 photos in one marathon session last weekend, and that booklet's off to the printer now. And yeah, fun stuff, and congratulations on 100.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I know. I just scared the shit out of Scott right now. He was like waiting there, waiting to be introduced, and then I surprised him.
Thank you very much. You too.
Yeah.
I mean, but because I work for MVD, and MVD is the domestic distributor for the Arrow stuff in the U.S., and I see all your stuff. It looks beautiful.
Yes, it does.
Thanks. I mean, most of the stuff that I do, it's often on the inside, although I have one release coming up where it'll be on the outside too, but so it's kind of hard to promote in that respect. But no, I appreciate it, and every lay out every booklet, every one's a challenge. I can't wait to see what people think of the Mallrats mall map that I designed.
Oh, it's great.
Later.
Nice.
Arrow literally is like the label that everyone strives to be like, because this is the collector talking, not the rewind guy talking, but like their stuff is just it's beautiful. I mean, like their packaging and the presentation and everything inside. I mean, I love our rewind stuff, but I just can't. I don't try to emulate them because they're on another level. I do the best I can with what I have,
of course,
but those guys just unbelievable, and you do great work. I can't wait to see that. So, just so I understand, and this is the geek in me talking. Are you literally going to make a map of the mall in the movie?
So
where all the stores are?
Well, so I'll give you the super short version. I know there are a lot of people in the hopper, but I worked on the layout and booklet for the Mallrats Blu-ray a few years ago. Robert Samelin did the artwork, and he's super talented too. And so this time I was told several months ago that they were doing a 4K, and I suggested, maybe as a little added bonus on this one, for an incentive, we could do like a mall map, even though in the movie you only see a few stores. They only dress the stores in the mall that you see. It was pretty much a dead mall anyway, where they filmed it.
Yeah.
And I finally got the email, and they're like, and we're going to go with the mall map idea. So my producer, Kevin, he watched the movie and had notes for me. I watched the movie, literally freeze framing. Okay, Jason Lee is in front of this shop, and he looks up. Cut to now he's in front of this shop. So the second one is obviously upstairs if he's looking up at it. Right. And what's next to this one? A lot of it was guesswork. But I tried to incorporate as much of the real geography and stores that you see. Some of it's parodies of real stores that I made up. Some are real stores that existed in the 90s that you don't see, but that conceivably would have been there, like Suncoast or like Housewares.
Did you put Chess King in there? Or merry-go-round?
I'd have to double check, actually.
Shit. No.
Check, and then I did a couple parodies.
Anytime you need any of that stuff, I'm a walking encyclopedia of 80s and 90s pop culture knowledge, especially when it comes to the mall. So
I know the malls were such a big thing back then. It's a shame now. I see this all the time. Even my local malls, half empty.
Don't even get me started. It makes me sad. I almost want to buy like a mall and set it up 80s or 90s style, or like half and half. So when people make movies and they want to shoot like a scene in a mall, they could like rent it that from me and like have it all set up and laid out like that. Would be so cool.
I just looked at my copy, my PDF. I did put Chess King in there.
It's awesome.
Nice.
Chess King, merry-go-round, Suncoast. That's these are staples, man.
But I love doing
wall-to-wall sound.
Yeah, I love doing my homework though, and I even emailed the real Eden Prairie Mall, and they said they transfer my email to their archive person, but they didn't have any actual maps of the mall as it existed.
I know, but the movie's shot in Eden Prairie Mall. I've had a few beers, so I'm a little.
It's okay,
but it's supposed to take place in New Jersey, so.
Okay. Yeah. We should just do a podcast with you two and talk about 80s malls.
80s and 90s malls. I mean,
mall shopping. I literally just did a TikTok showing off like all my shopping bags and things that I saved from back in the day. And some of which were mall stores, but now all of a sudden I'm saving bags from mall shopping.
Yeah,
because the stores don't exist anymore.
They don't. Yeah.
They
don't exist. I used to. I've said this before. I used to spend a lot of time in bookstores growing up as a teenager. Borders Bookstores was a big chain up here, and then when they closed down
up there, I used to have to go there for meetings all the time when I worked for Anchor Bay. I mean, I loved Borders, and that's a store I miss. It's a store
when they went out of business. I still have some of their like bags, like tote bags in my closet.
Gotta
just because
save that, man.
It's gone. You can't get them anywhere.
I was cleaning out. I'm trying to like clean up my house a little bit, and I came across 2 like FYE bags. I'm thinking I'm saving these. I don't know how long FYE is going to be around, but
I was just there's only 2 of them in my state now. There used to be much more. A lot of them closed down years ago because I don't know, maybe their parent company filed for bankruptcy, one of those things. But the same one that's been available at that mall that I've been going to since I was a kid has been there forever. And I thought it was closed down by now, but apparently it didn't.
I miss Michigan. When I worked for Anchor Bay, I loved going up. I loved going up there. I love the area up there. I loved driving up to see borders. Just great state and great area.
Yeah,
I could never get a job as a teenager at Suncoast to save my life. I would apply there all the time, and they never call me back. I ended up, when I was in high school, I worked at Target, and that was when DVD that was the summer of The Matrix. So I was there when DVD started taking off, and having to explain that and seeing the shelves of VHS disappear. I think
slowly disappear.
So Scott, were you like a collector and a movie geek back in the 90s and stuff that that led you into graphic design and doing what you do?
I mean, always into movies since I was a kid. I just turned 40 a few months ago. Mm-hmm. Oddly, my parents, and I love my parents and they support what I do, but they never really believed in buying movies. It was like, well, why would you buy it? You could just tape it when it comes on. So I didn't really start buying movies until
they don't get it.
But I didn't really start buying movies until the end of high school, and even then, I was the weirdo who would call Suncoast. Do you have the letterboxed VHS of such and such? And
you didn't have listen, letterbox VHS. I was happy that it existed, but the diehards owned Laserdisc players because everything, most of those were automatically letterboxed. That was, and Laserdisc is the grandfather to the DVD and the Blu-ray. So
yeah.
I didn't have enough. I was a teenager, didn't have enough money for that. But graphic design, I was always into. And then when the film school thing ended up not working out, I went back to school for graphic design. And I just saw the guys were interviewing Adrian Martin, who did the commentary on Arrow's Crash. Yeah. I just did my own release of Crash as a student project. I found an essay for a booklet, and some of the ideas I did for the student project I incorporated into the actual Arrow release.
Now, when you work on Arrow graphic design, do you have input? Like, do they ask you, especially if it's a cover, do they ask for your input or your ideas, or do they already have an idea that they tell you and they want you to execute?
99, I'd say pretty much every time, if I'm not doing the artwork and someone else is, like Tony Stella or whoever, I just get the artwork. If something has to be changed, we let the artist know. But I usually don't have input into the cover if it's someone else's cover. But then I'll take, if they used a specific font, I'll repurpose that font in the booklet so it's all of a piece. And then I get all the photos to touch up. And if Tony Stella uses a specific color, I'll try to emphasize that color in the booklet so it all looks, together. But I'm usually, by the time I'm brought on, the artwork, if it's someone else, it's done already.
Yeah. I'm so dedicated to recreating original artwork. Like for me, even if it's bad, even if the original sucked, it has to look like, especially we just started doing 4Ks, and I've fallen in love with the artwork from RCA Selective Vision CED discs, like this one right here. And I just love that look and that feel. And I'm just trying. I look at what everybody else is doing, and I'm thinking, okay, what can I do differently that everybody else is doing, that I can stand out, but at the same time, because we sell nostalgia. I have fully embraced the fact that when people buy these movies, and these are movies that many of which already own on some format, but if we sell nostalgia and we sell them something that makes them feel like they're younger or makes them feel better, I want to make sure that I'm giving you something that delivers that.
Right. I know
that makes sense.
MVD, I know for those of you listening, MVD is putting out a really big deluxe edition of Swamp Thing.
Yes.
Which is, I think that was announced right after you had come on. And I think that's coming out in July, I believe, right? Steven,
yeah.
Do you know? And
this guy knows
Rewind-
better than me.
You can
Yeah.
rewind what I just held up right there. I just gave you a little exclusive right there before we've announced it, but I'm not
Oh
gonna
man,
again.
please
Don't
go
do it
back,
again.
people.
Yeah.
Please go back.
just rewind
yeah,
and
yeah.
pause.
But
Um,
yeah, that's great, man. Guys,
No, I'm thinking when we were working on our 4Ks, I'm like, what can I do that's differently? And then my brain went, we could like 4K is the best quality that's existed in home video, and what could I possibly do that would be unique and to this what
I think
our 4Ks? And
I think Ryan was paying
I will take
attention.
the worst quality home video format and use that for the covers for our best quality format. Literally, that's
I like it.
what I'm doing. So
It looks like Ryan was paying attention.
What's that, Brian?
Ryan from Disconnected's he was paying attention. He saw goals.
I will say no more. I will not hold it up again.
he will not. He will neither
It'll
confirm.
get announced this week.
He will neither confirm nor deny what just occurred.
But Scott, you can of course go back. Scott's one of he's routine guests. He's been on, I believe, episode 13, 47, and 88. I think the three episodes.
You're gonna want to follow me on TikTok because I've been working on my TikTok. I'm gonna announce this on TikTok, then I'll go to Facebook and Twitter and everywhere else. But
Eric is everywhere, so
yes,
please,
he's everywhere now.
I'm trying. I want to be. I mean, my goal is to. I am fortunate that I get to do what I do, but I am every much of a I am a collector.
I think you need to take a sip of water. Take a sip of water.
I'm a collector, and
yeah,
I am fortunate that I get to be that I'm a collector, and I get to do what I do because I approach my job. I think like, what would I want? If I'm buying this, what do I want? How do I want this just to look? And that's how I approach my work.
We love you for it, man.
Yeah, the passion, the passion's there.
I love. I can't believe I get to do what I do. I don't know how I figured out a way to slowly edge my way into doing this, but the fact that I get to oversee this label and pick the titles, and I literally, from the moment I do the acquisition, like I'm not bragging, but I work on everything. I do the acquisition.
That's great, man.
We bring it in. I oversee the bonus feature. I oversee everything, and I get to make it exactly how, as a consumer, how I would want it. But because I'm a collector, I'm pretty sure that's the same way that everybody else wants it.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Well,
cool.
guys, I appreciate you both taking the time to help us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Scott, nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, Eric. Likewise, I'll have to find you elsewhere online.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter and TikTok. My name is Indie INDEE producer on TikTok and Twitter. But I spend all my time now on those two platforms, just talking about not just our titles, but like everybody's titles and collecting. Yeah. And when I go to a thrift shop and I buy like a stack of VHS, I love to show them off. I mean, I am just having so much fun with physical media, and I've re-fallen in love with VHS in the last 3 months. I've been buying a ton of it again.
Awesome, I just went to I know you guys have to.
No, you're good. You go ahead.
Go right ahead.
VHS, a video store in North Hollywood, just a little ways away, and I went with fellow designer Sister Hyde, who just been busy with Criterion, and they had a VHS sort of swap meet event going on, and I don't collect VHS, and I wouldn't have the room anyway, but it was kind of cool to just go through just the packaging, and there was some deluxe Lawrence of Arabia that had actually like a little flip cover thing with attached, and cool.
I found
it was cool
and I did a video on it. I did a TikTok on it. I found and I don't even love the movie. A copy of Little Women in a plastic like shell case that you pop the top off, and the tape was inside. Just something about, I know it looks like shit, but there's just something about the aesthetic of it. And I know it's retro and it brings back a feeling. I'm just re-falling in love with the format again. I'm setting up a room in my house now with a CRT TV, and it's got my Laserdisc, my Betamax, my VHS, and my CD player all hooked up to this TV. And I'm going to have a room for it. If I want to watch a movie and I want it to look like
a certain
shit,
way.
that's the room I'm gonna watch.
Well,
Aesthetic.
you get back to it, man. You get back to getting that room set up. We'll do a video. I think we talked about it when we talked with you last. We should do a video, go through your collection a little bit,
Absolutely.
and do a commentary. So,
It took
guys,
a long time to go through my collection. I
well,
I bet.
12,000
most definitely.
He's got all the formats now.
Yeah, but guys, Scott, thank you for joining us.
Congratulations
Eric,
on your
thank
100th
you.
episode. I'm giving you a cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming on.
Have a good
Anytime.
night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. Well, it's cleaning up a little bit. There's still some people in the wings. Let's see here. I guess I'll let these guys come
This
in.
is like
together.
The Price is Right.
I know. So
Come on down.
We got Ed. Gage as he's going by on here. I remember calling you Edward. Ed.
My name is Edward Gage, so
Yeah,
I go by Gage by everybody, but that was just my burner account on Facebook was Ed.
Yeah, and
Nice.
he's down in Florida. He has the Norman Studios where he had worked on the silent film restorations down there. And we'll talk more about that in a second. I want to bring in another friend, of course, collaborator, Ryan Verrill.
Oh,
I got his last name right?
This time you did. Yes, thank you.
Oh, thank God.
Steven is notorious for screwing up names.
It's like I do it on purpose. Okay, so guys, how's it going?
Doing all right.
fantastic. Yeah, great.
Yeah. I'm sorry I was wanting everybody to have their moment, but it's getting crazy. There was literally a line of like the limit, like 10
That's
people.
a good sign.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. But I was like, God damn it. I'm making people wait in the backstage. And I'm like, some of these people are up at like 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, I know. Steven's the bouncer. He's the guy and at the front of the club with the
You can
the
come
rope.
in.
And he's
You
like,
can-
you can come in. You can come in. No, not you.
I was Swayze. I was the cooler, you know. But guys, thanks for joining us on our 100th episode.
Thank you.
Congrats
Yeah.
on 100. And
Yes,
I hope you do at least 8 more.
Thank you for saying 8.
Yeah,
I'm getting sick of hearing 100. God damn.
A reasonable amount.
Yeah, I can do 8. We can at least. We probably already have 8 ready in a way because of interviews. But it's yeah. I mean, we can do that. But guys, of course, Ryan has his channel, The Disconnected, which is one of my favorite physical. I mean, honestly, he does more than we can do. Just one guy by himself does more than me and Andrew do.
Yeah, Ryan does do the live streams. I think
every
week,
Thursday.
Right?
Every single Thursday.
Yeah, so he does what we do, but he does it. He's a madman. He goes into premiums. He gets steel books. He's doing everything. And of course, Gage over here, like we were saying, he's part of restaurant. You know, it's a museum too. Right now, it's set up.
Yep, it's a museum. We just actually over the weekend had our first soft opening for the public.
Nice.
So what we are is a group of buildings here in Jacksonville, Florida, that is working to preserve Jacksonville's silent film history.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man. Yeah, it's been a minute. I didn't even look.
Yeah.
I meant to look at your episode how long ago.
4th of July. It was the 4th of July.
I do remember that. Yeah, and it was fireworks going off in the background, and I remember that. Yeah,
I do remember that. Yeah, and I think when we talked to you, you guys were in the midst of renovating things to make it open to the public for screenings and such and stuff like that.
The building was still under a lot of construction when we were talking last year, and now it is a absolutely beautiful building. The first floor, anyways. The second floor still needs a lot of work done for it. And then the other 4 buildings also need to be fully redone. And last year when we talked, we were talking about the 5th property that was owned by the church. And I'm happy to announce that we have been appointed money from Jacksonville to purchase that building. So we will finally complete the entire property for the first time since, I believe, 1972. All the buildings will now be owned by the city of Jacksonville. We could complete the entire property.
Fantastic.
Wow. Oh,
man.
fantastic.
Now, is any more of his work getting worked on?
So, yeah, that's funny you asked that. And it's awesome that you have me on with Ryan, too. I just wanted to say real quick, I needed to shoot my shot. I need to be on The Disconnected one day. I've been meaning to send you a message I'll DM you and
Please do.
Yeah, because I'm a late night freak and I'll be on. Anytime you need somebody last minute, I'll gladly be that person.
Appreciate that. We'll make it work.
Okay, awesome. And I also want to say shouts out to John and Eric, both had me inspired. I moved into this new house, so you see I don't have any bookshelves.
I was gonna say it's very plain back there.
Yeah, it's gray wash. My girlfriend and I actually just moved into a house for the first time together.
Nice,
and,
man. Congratulations.
Thank you. The past 2.5 weeks have been the busiest weeks of my life, just with everything happened with Norman Studios and moving here. I don't have my OLED here yet or my 4K player. I only have one Blu-ray here, and it's the new Kill Butterfly Kill.
Oh, nice.
The only Blu-ray I have over here right now. But
wow.
This hopefully tonight I'll be able to go and run and get my TV. But over this past weekend, Friday night, we actually had the American Conservatory Institute group have a private event at Norman Studios, and we had about 50 people there from all over the country, mostly from Washington, D.C., but Houston, Portland, New York City, Philadelphia, Austin. We had all over the country people there checking it out. They were in town for this big convention, and we were one of the stops on their tour. And then Saturday, as I was saying, was the soft opening of the museum. And we were expecting about 100 people to register, but within like a few days, 189 people registered.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
And we had to shut down registration because we can't fit that many people.
Yeah. I'm assuming there's a fire code or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's an old building, so it's not very, very large. It's a big building, but it's not large enough to hold that many people. And we knew that they would be coming and going throughout the day. And it wound up being the perfect amount of people. There wasn't too many people all in there at the same time, but it was a very successful event to have over the course of 2 days, over 200 people come and visit our building and see all the new stuff we had set up. I believe last time we talked about in going back to your question, Stephen, about any more of his work on the Pioneers of African American Cinema box set from Kino. We have the full film, The Flying Ace, which is the only feature film that still survives. And then also on that Blu-ray is one reel of the film Regeneration. And we are borrowing the name Regeneration for the start of our museum. And the Academy of Motion Picture Museum in Los Angeles actually also named their current African-American exhibit Regeneration as well, based off of Richard Norman's film. So that's still only that one reel survives of that was like a 5 or 6 reeler, but it's also heavily decomposition from nitrate damage. But yesterday at our event, we actually debuted a one reel short called Sleepy Sam the Sleuth that is from 1915, before Norman Studios opened. Norman Studios didn't open until the 20s, but he, in the teens, was traveling through the Midwest, making these films called Townies. I think I talked about this when I was on last time, where he was he had like 8-minute films of stock footage that he had already filmed, and then he would film like 2 minutes of the townspeople and interject it into the film, and then show the film in the town and have all the people come see themselves be in the movie. And this film was donated to the Library of Congress at the same time as The Flying Ace was, sometime way before I joined on, like 1998, I think is when all that stuff was donated. But the Library of Congress just 3 weeks ago finished a new digital master of it. So we now have Sleepy Sam the Sleuth, and we were debuting that at the museum yesterday.
Fantastic, man. How did everybody receive it? They super interested in it? Like, a
lot of people. Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's definitely like amateur work of his. So because it's from when he first actually started making films, and it's about 9.5 minutes long, and it's pretty good. One of the board members of Norman Studios, Mr. Jim Kirchhoff, he went and looked up and tried to find any reviews of the movie that he could find, and the only reviews that he could find from back in 1915 were, we didn't see ourselves in it. We were promised to be in this movie. Where were we? Where were we?
I'm pissed. How are my Instagram followers gonna
Exactly.
It's amazing how 100 years later, a lot of people still act like that.
I know, right? Yo, you're for real, yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, the film has like some pretty wild effects in it, where there's these basically the whole movie is about these two guys chasing these chicken thieves, and they're throwing these bombs at them, and they have some wild effect where like the bomb is chasing these people that are running. I guess they have it like on a rope or something, but it's definitely entertaining for sure.
Fantastic, man. That's great. That's a great update. I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, sir.
Ryan, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gage.
Oh, I was just saying yes, sir. Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't hear. Ryan, please. How are everything going on with you? I know you're just doing what we're doing, just busy talking. We'll eventually talk Blu-ray announcements on the show. I promise everybody.
Yeah, Steven definitely over. Well, thing is, Steven told me we were having guests on, but I didn't know it was going to be every single one we've ever had.
I don't think that's. I mean, if we did over 50 guests in one episode, I would be like, why did we spend so much time doing all the shows when we could have just done it in one episode?
Exactly.
But Ryan, how's everything going? How you doing? How you feeling?
Doing pretty well. Just busy as hell. It's really hard to not share some things publicly that seem to be in the works at the moment.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not gonna say anything. No, it's good. I mean, I kind of know. I don't know everything, but I know that you're doing something awesome. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a handful of things that hopefully we'll be able to be talking about here soon. But for the most part, it's just a lot of work. The channel alone takes a lot, but for people that could see everything going on behind the scenes, there's cogs moving literally constantly.
If you don't see, you can't see it, but like if we had a bigger camera, you could see that he's working on something with his hands right now, like while he's talking to us.
It's called multitasking.
I may
or may not have done. Like,
I believe you. Yeah, because I don't know how you do all the stuff you do.
My interview that's going up tomorrow on the channel, I was literally formatting the post right now as I was waiting to come in here.
Yeah, I believe it. That's
while we had Mark on from Orbit DVD, I was on the Orbit DVD website browsing. So Steve,
what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, I'm paying attention to our guests. You're over here shopping while we're talking to our guests.
I'm always shopping in my head. Always looking for the next thing.
Too,
sometimes you'll forget it if you don't.
Thank you. So I don't feel alone.
But Ryan, so what's can you tease us on a we tease our guests, but you don't really tease your guests coming up. Can you tease the next guest?
Yeah, tomorrow's interview is actually really exciting for me. It is Daniel Kramer, the producer that put together the Sidney J. Fury box set for Imprint, and he's directed, I think he's at 7 features that have been released so far already, and he's got 2 or 3 that he's filmed that he's just working on post. Another madman that works like crazy.
Dude, I was gonna say he's on everything.
Yeah,
especially at Imprint. Like he's on everything.
Yeah. I teased him about that in the interview. I said every month I swear I read your name like 8 times, and that's just from Imprint. But he has pretty much dedicated the last like 15 years of his life to Sidney J. Fury. So this box set is a culmination of something really special for him. And I expected it to be a longer interview, but we ended up going almost 2 full hours. And there is so much in this that I think people will find memorable and useful and just really interesting behind the scenes for somebody like Sidney J. Fury that hopefully can make a nice little companion piece to this box set and get some people excited, because it's supposedly selling really well for them, and with only 1,500 copies, I don't see it lasting too much longer.
It's not going to last long. That box set month, I don't think that box set month's going to last very long.
No,
and then now we see they're putting out these actress and actor focused sets. Dude, it's getting crazy.
We'll be talking
about
those 2 later. The Jessica Lange.
Well, eventually.
Eventually.
I'm hoping so. We're gonna have to breeze through these announcements probably a little bit, because I can't be up that late.
Okay,
but
I didn't know it was past your bedtime already.
Well, it's not. But like, I do have a family upstairs, and I don't want to like not see them all day.
Gotcha.
Because I went to work at 5 in the morning, and then
Good thing you scheduled this early. If we did our usual 9 o'clock on Sunday nights, was when we usually record the podcast, we'd be up.
We wouldn't have had half the guests we just had.
That's probably true.
The thing is, Steven did that to accommodate to have more guests, and I think he's regretting it now.
I'm not regretting it. This was amazing.
It actually has been amazing.
Yeah, I didn't expect everybody to show up like this, but so yeah, I do want to say, Ryan, we need to get started on the Shelf Shock 2, because we we said we would start earlier, and we haven't really started yet. And I know we're both busy, but like we need to get on this.
There's a lot going on that has prohibited that, but I will be starting to send emails probably in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, we need to get on and starting to talk to our CSC members and
I would say there's already probably early contenders for certain categories are already on the
a lot of good box set contenders already.
A lot of good box set contenders, a lot of good edition contenders.
We still need to, collaborate.
Hasn't even been half the year yet.
Well, we still need to collaborate on like some changes if there's any changes we want to make. There's tons of stuff to do.
That Texas chainsaw is going to sweep everything, right?
Dude.
I got that in the mail right before I moved. I got it from Orbit, and I got it in the mail. I haven't even opened it yet. It's been sitting at my old house.
It looks intimidating.
Like one of the first things I crack open when I get all my stuff set up here.
The only thing I will say is the people that are willing to venture out into Black Emmanuel might have something to say.
Oh my gosh. I need that.
That's another massive set.
Now let me ask, Ryan, did you go for the whole shebang? Did you get the whole shebang?
I got to be honest, I haven't pre-ordered any of the Black
really?
set. Yeah, I'm holding out on that one, and that's primarily not to let anything slip. But I know some things still coming from Severin this year that I need to save.
Hold out for. Understandable.
He's like, I'm going to just save it for that one.
Yeah.
And the thing is a lot of these Severin sets eventually go out of print.
Mm-hmm.
They tend to hang around for a good bit. Like you
certain
have some
ones,
time. Except for like all the haunts. All of the haunts is still in print.
I think the only one that's left has been the Adamson set, and I think they learned from that one that people want these, and they try to hold on to them longer.
Yeah, so I think you can wait on some of these because they are niche. They are usually about filmmakers or actresses or something that are like very niche. So not everybody's going to hop in right away. As awesome as they look, and I think you're safe for a good while. But
I know. Obviously the exclusive stuff, all the extra stuff,
all them goodies
real
look
quick,
enticing, definitely.
Yeah, they had to put out like a second version, but with a couple of things missing because the demand for it was so high.
Yeah,
with the Black Emmanuel set.
Yeah,
I just didn't see the need for a Black Emmanuel board game in my house.
It's cool as I'm with you. As cool as it is, I was like, I'm not gonna play that. I'm honestly, and I don't have time to play anything, let alone that game.
Yeah, I did, but my idea when we were covering it was they should release the Severin Airlines like bag by itself. And I did see a lot of people saying the same thing.
Yeah, definitely. I would use it. You would have used it in your move. You would have like, I got this.
I'm like, so like I said, the only thing I have over here right now are my like half of my clothes. I don't have my TV. I don't have my Xbox, my Blu-ray player, and this is the only Blu-ray. I mean, I probably have I don't know. I have a fairly large collection, and then I have a whole bunch of old like wrestling VHS tapes that are going to be a pain to move, but like I probably have like somewhere in the like 500 or 600 things, and
it's still a lot.
It's still a lot, and I'm not looking for. I don't know exactly what I'm going to put them in yet because I'm kind of anal about like.
Yeah, Steven, so you had to do a couple.
I did that, but I was going to mention I saw the deep soul, the dying soul of Ryan's eyes right now, because he's going to be moving soon, I think, and he's got to move like a 9,000.
I honestly haven't counted. It's probably
it's a lot.
That's a lot.
Somewhere between 7,000 and 9,000.
Yeah.
Are you moving to Florida?
Oh no, thank you.
But
the heat's down there. It's just too hot.
No,
it's hot today. It's like raining outside right now, and like just like 30 minutes ago, it was full sunshine and still raining.
Yeah.
So you know that.
The humidity
as it could possibly get. Yeah, we got
that'll fuck up some discs.
Yeah, usually Memorial Day weekend's like your last like decent weekend, and then it's hell until October. So
yeah.
But I was gonna say I see a lot of people trying to move their movies when they move, and I just see
it's
boxes on boxes on boxes.
I got a horror story about it because I did really great, and then there was one movie that escaped me. It like tried to get away. And it was my Dawn of the Dead second sight.
Second sight? Oh, that's the worst possible one.
It plopped out of my box somehow, and then it landed on the pavement, and it hugged it. It nudged the edge. Yeah.
Andrew just saw the light flash before his eyes.
Thing is, I
just keep it on the shelf. I flip it the other way so that I
just
don't
not
see
even look at it. I
just
when
have
I
like
see those crunch
rigid
corners.
Yeah,
Oh.
I got rigid like plastic boxes that are fairly small. Like I could probably only fit like 50 in at a time. And I think I have like 3 or 4 of them. So I might just do like 2 or 3 trips with that.
We're being told don't complain. Aaron Pym had to move his to Morocco.
I remember hearing him talk about that. Yeah, that sounds awful as well.
Wow.
And
I couldn't imagine.
Well,
I don't trust anyone with my collection, let
An
alone
airplane.
movers.
You know, they were just throwing those things off.
Yeah, I've seen them on the tarmac just chucking suitcases,
Yeah.
and then they explode on the tarmac, and you get to your destination. It's like, oh, what happened to my stuff?
Yeah.
It's wherever now.
Lots of loose discs in the shakers. You know, the shakers.
I call them maracas. That's what I call them. When I'm at a store, and I hear
Barnes and Noble, the Criterion. So I swear, Barnes and Noble's like QA has gone downhill so much. Like whenever I go to I have one that still sells discs during all year, but the one that I go to for the Criterion sale, I would say like I at least find 10 that are shakers, at least, usually more than that.
I usually find the shakers, and then sometimes, don't ask me how, it must have been done when Criterion Factory was putting these together or wherever. The artwork will be misaligned completely.
Yes, I've had it like completely looped around the top of it.
There's been a copy of Dance Girl Dance where it was like this.
Yeah,
like that's the way the artwork
and then
was in it.
And what I do when I
torn.
find them is I take them to the front and say nobody's going to buy this.
Nope. Yeah, because they're there for years.
Years.
And what do? They put them back on the fucking shelf. And I'm like, I said nobody's going to buy this. Take this off the shelf.
It's that, and it's the spider wrap grip things on the box
I won't
sets.
buy them. Yeah,
and
I'll just buy those during the Criterion 24-hour sales, if anything like that.
Yeah. But guys, I do want to let you go. I know you both got stuff to do. Ryan's got to do like 5 other interviews after this, and then Gage has probably got to move some stuff. But he had to got his internet together to do this show with us. So
that was one of the first things we did when we moved over here. I got the internet moved and set up.
Well,
that was actually pretty easy. So.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yes.
I appreciate you guys taking the time to talk
We
with
appreciate you. And real quick, before I go, I just want to say thank you guys for making all of our work days a lot better. I love listening to both Disconnected and Chasing Labels every week. I've never missed an episode.
Awesome.
And
thank you.
You guys help the work week go by. And we have a couple events coming up. We'll have a grand opening sometime in August. We're still trying to figure out the exact date of that. And then hopefully sometime this fall, maybe this winter, we will have a big gala event. And hopefully we have a pretty well-known guest come and host that.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Awesome, man.
Awesome.
Well, Florida's not far from me, so maybe I can try to get down there.
And we're Jacksonville, so we're basically South Georgia. So you know, if you draw that line straight across, we're in Georgia. So it's not too bad of a drive down here.
No, not too bad. No. Ryan.
I
appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you guys. Andrew, I still need to get you scheduled for an episode of Reconnected. Steven,
I know.
I talked to enough, but
I don't want to fucking do that show again.
Not really selling it. Not really selling it.
But I do want to let you know before you go that we're gonna continue to advertise you if we ever get to the announcements. We're gonna use your Instagram as our visual element.
Awesome.
That was Steven's doing.
Yeah. So we will continue to support Disconnected as a sponsor through the rest of this episode.
Honestly, it just makes things easier just to have a visual list of everything.
Yeah, that makes it easy. So I appreciate you guys. You guys have a good rest of your night.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Gage. We'll talk soon, too. See you.
Yes, sir.
All right. And now let's see here. Let's see if we can get a couple more people in. These guys go together, I think. Oh, shoot.
Oh, well, my goodness.
Yes, we do. How you doing?
Man.
It happened to be a very early Monday morning on the way to work, but I want to say hello.
Yeah. You guys, you were just on recently. So, it was good. It's good to get you back so quickly. How's the morning? How's it looks like the weather's nice.
Nice, but freaking cold.
Freaking cold.
Yeah, it's a weird. It's chilly, but it's sunny. So Aussie winter doesn't get too. I mean, it does in certain states, but it's still sunny. So this is our winter. Yes.
Yeah, right now in my area it's 5 degrees Celsius. So
Jesus.
it is pretty cold.
Nice. It's hard to imagine Australia being cold, but it's.
Oh, believe me,
Even can't figure it out.
I know. I'm just being like very cliche, like, but
Cliche
still,
American.
I know. That's what I'm ignorant. But guys, I appreciate you. I know it's early, like you said there, and you're obviously on your way somewhere. So thank you for popping in just to say hey, and yeah, we love what we just did an episode. We love what you guys do, and we appreciate your support and all that stuff. And
absolutely, we had to say something for your 100th episode.
Yeah,
it's amazing. It's a good milestone.
Yeah,
there's no way I was going to miss this.
No,
yeah. Well, that's too much. You got all the guests so far. You guys are awesome, man. You just popped in.
Thank you.
Yeah, it has been very, very nice. Very appreciative too. I didn't realize how many people actually listen to the show. I've always divorced myself from that. I don't like to think. I guess because it takes the pressure off. So if you think nobody's watching, you don't have to. There's no stress.
Yeah.
It's good.
Go ahead, John.
Oh no, just like even in our Aussie film circles and stuff, people talk about your show. So yeah, there are even listeners down here. There is quite a large audience. So the less you know, the better, I guess.
Yeah, stop telling me good stuff, man. It's gonna make me want to do that extra 100 episodes everybody keeps wanting to do.
That's true. Well, we did get some Aussie news where Indicator did say they're going to be doing a lot more Australian film releases
in 4K.
In 4K, yeah, that was the extra kicker.
So
didn't get into specifics, but they said they're on the way.
So. But
John, have you heard anything about that with Indicator?
No, I think that was just early. I think I was just watching. John was on earlier, wasn't he?
John. Yeah, he's the one that said. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Awesome. That's great news. That's very, very cool. More Aussie films, the better, and especially 4K. That's huge. So
definitely,
we're very happy about that.
Yep. Well, guys, I don't want to take up your mornings.
That's all good. I know.
It
might be short and brief, but we wouldn't miss this. And
Nah.
Yeah,
I think if
anybody, for everybody listening and watching, check out
Indicator Cast, Imprint Cast. We just had our interview with them, and he just did an interview with Ryan over at Disconnected. These guys did. Yep. So go check out all the stuff they're doing. And yeah, guys, once again, thanks for the pop in, and we very much appreciated all the love.
Absolute pleasure.
Yeah, we do this every month. Let's do this every month. Let's do this every month where we get all the love.
Why not?
That's a lot of pressure, Steven.
It's a great community of people.
It really is. It is. It's. I mean, honestly, Ryan from Disconnected very much influenced me to want to start doing a little bit more video stuff, and it's definitely been great. It's been great to be able to connect people eye to eye in a way, and it just makes it more of a better overall experience to be able to talk to you guys. And let's do it again soon.
For sure, definitely.
All right, guys.
All right, have a good one, and congratulations.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Bye.
Thank you. All right. Well, if you can believe it, we're alone now.
I think we're alone now.
Yeah, but it was fantastic. That was we spent 2 hours talking to a bunch of different people.
Yeah, it's kind of it's like a day, not a day in the life, but it's like, this is your life, bringing back all the people that are from your life. Over the last 2 years, it's a lot of people. We interviewed a lot of great guests, all great guests, really. Yeah. It's nice to see that they're still aware of us in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that's kind of the biggest thing, and like what Gage said, that they're and many others in the chat saying that they were part of their commute, or that that's just great. It's we appreciate you guys.
It's incredibly appreciative. You're right.
It makes us motivated to continue to do it. That we're actually people were getting something out of what we're doing, and that makes it special. So thank you guys for sharing all that with us, and for the guests that popped in, and there could still be more popping in. We'll see. But for now, we're alone, and let's try to do, like I said, we're going to have to breeze through this a little bit because it is 2 hours in. I don't want to shit over announcements, but I think we gotta breeze through these.
Well,
somewhat.
yeah, some of these early ones we can go through real quick, and then I think the more substantial ones will be towards the end. You know,
Yeah,
there was some great stuff that was released earlier this week that we'll get into. But Steven, let's get into it while we got it while we can.
I'm not shitting on Ryan, but I'm not doing a 5-hour podcast like he does on his.
We're at 2 right now, so you never
I'm
know.
not doing what he does. He's crazy. He's crazy man. He'll do 5-6 hour.
That's a long
streams,
time.
I can't do it.
Yeah. It's tough. I'll tell you, for those of you who stream, whether it be video games, whether it be this stuff, whether it be whatever, streaming's not easy because you gotta be active.
You gotta
be
continuously
moving.
be engaged. You gotta it for hours. Like it's crazy. Like
right. And if you're an introvert like myself, to people, or if you hit a wall, it gets tough.
Yeah.
But let's dive into some of these.
Let's do it, man. So starting off here, we got we're gonna do some Kino here, and as I said, brought to you by The Disconnected on their Instagram.
Right. Yeah. So fortunately, he does give us a lot. He does cover many things. So this is just great for us. And the first up here is Kino's putting out a 4K edition of High Noon. Kind of surprised the heck out of me, to be honest with you. This was announced this morning.
Yeah.
The reason why it's surprising is because this already has 2 Blu-ray releases already. This had both of them by Olive Films, one in 2012 and the other in 2016 as an Olive Signature Edition, which was like their more, kind of deluxe release, new restoration on them, new special features on them. But this is interesting. I'm guessing once again, when Olive Films has kind of gone away, the licensing lapse. Yeah. Now High Noon is with Kino, who seems to scoop up everybody's licensing these days, or as much as they can.
Everything. They're on top of everything.
But High Noon is the Gary Cooper starring Western. It's a classic, directed by Fred Zinnemann, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an all-time classic.
It's a classic. I know. Dan is a big fan of this one, so he'll be looking to get this 4K definitely.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's going to be a special feature difference between this and the other one. Maybe they do carry over, but there's been no details released yet.
Yeah, Gage, who was just on, he's saying he's really he cannot wait for the Philo Brevance collection from Kino. I think we talked about that last week.
We did talk. We're starring William Powell as doing his detective work again, a la Before the Thin Man.
Yeah.
So moving on from High Noon, we got He Walked by Night, which is a film noir, and I had watched this years ago, and this is an interesting film noir because it's not, I wouldn't call it a B movie film noir, but one that I think is really good. It's kind of the street level, street level style, and makes it a film noir. And I believe, if I'm correct, this was already on Blu-ray, I think, Steven. Am I right on that?
It seems familiar. It is.
I know. So yeah, I was put it out in 2017, and I think it may be out of print.
Okay.
That's what I recalled it. It's directed by Alfred L. Worker, and I think Anthony Mann was on it as well.
Yes.
I'm not sure who will work and whatnot. I'd have to look that up. But yeah, this starring Richard Basehart, and it's a movie where there's someone commits a murder and kills a police officer, and then the detectives are trying to hunt this person down in Los Angeles, and they don't really have much to go on. And it's kind of one of those street level police procedural type of dark film noirs. I think it all takes place at night. Those things. I've always actually wanted that classic flicks one, but I guess if it's getting an upgrade, might as well wait for this.
Might as well wait, man. Do we have to talk about this?
Fast X. I'll tell you this. They do announce these very, very quickly when the movie comes out these days, because this is just in the theaters literally this week.
Yeah.
It does go along with the other Best Buy exclusive steelbooks that they've been putting out for years when it comes to the design and color of it all.
Well, if they ever decide to stop making these movies, maybe one day, maybe I'll buy a box set. But I'm not going to buy it now because they keep announcing more.
I'm notoriously not a fan of these movies.
The first
I find them entertaining. They're not good, most of them, at least in my opinion, or at least the most recent ones. But they're entertaining as heck.
To a point, like I think that they are aware of how ridiculous they are, so they continue to get more ridiculous. But
incredibly I found the ones that were done by Justin Lin to be very, very like technically very well made. The car chase sequences, all that. But we can move on from this.
You sure? You sure you don't want to talk about it more?
I'm positive.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, Dead Heat on a Merry-Go-Round, which is a great title, enough to the point where I'm like, I kind of want this movie. Obviously starring James Coburn. Yeah, I love that title. Steven, I don't think you've seen it. I didn't think I'd have time to see it this week.
No, but it looks like an interesting title. Con artist Eli Koch schemes his way to parole by seducing the prison's female psychiatrist. So yeah, that's
the IMDb synopsis is similar. It says a paroled con man coordinates the robbery of an LA airport bank with of Soviet premiere. Interesting, kind of playing into the 1960s Cold War and also kind of being a bit of a neo-noir.
Yeah.
And James Coburn, I think, was a great actor. Just a fantastic actor.
Awesome. Moving on to A Dandy in the Aspect.
A Dandy in Aspect. I think we talked about this when it was announced, but I think we're finally getting details on it now. We're getting some special features. We're getting
more Anthony Mann there too.
Yeah, and it's more Anthony Mann, which is great for me. Just give me more Anthony Mann. I always found Anthony Mann to be a really solid director. I love his westerns with Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah,
I love those westerns. I know Martin Scorsese is a gigantic fan of Anthony Mann.
Did he do The Naked Spurs?
Yes, he did do Naked Spur, Winchester 73, Man from Laramie. I think Bend of the River as well. I think those are the ones he did with Jimmy Stewart. Reserves. I think by this point all of those have Blu-ray releases in some respect.
Yeah. All right. This is a fun one. Coming to 4K by, it looks like Sony Pictures.
Yeah, straight up Sony. I thought this would be a boutique label release at one point, but I guess not. It's a 4K release I know a lot of people were buzzing about this, to be honest. A lot of people, I guess, saw this when they were younger. I only saw this over the last couple of years, actually.
Yeah, me too. It was one of them things where I was like, I'm into. I feel like I miss Mike Myers because he's been gone. So I just started looking at like some of his older movies that I hadn't seen, and I was like, oh shoot, this one looks fun. And yeah, So I Married an Axe Murderer is definitely one I want an upgrade for.
Yeah, we recently got an upgrade of Wayne's World, got a 4K release as well. I know Shrek and Shrek 2 have gotten 4K releases now. The only thing that hasn't really gotten those 4K
Austin Powers.
Austin Powers.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's next on the horizon. Who knows?
I don't know. There might be another movie eventually, so I'll wait.
People are holding out for it, but I wasn't Gold Member 2003. It's been 20 years.
I don't know. I want a Wayne's World 3 first anyway. So let's do that first. But
oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah. Unearthed Films has got The Sound of Summer coming out. I believe this is a newer film? Yeah, I guess so.
So the sound it's interesting when you put The Sound of, you get every other movie but this one.
So it's
2022.
Yeah,
it's a 2022 film.
So it looks like it's some kind of horror film, just based off the cover. I don't know.
Yeah, I can read the synopsis
go ahead.
Little bit. It's kind of a paragraph. I don't want to go through the whole thing. Where it says, in the relentless heat of the grueling summer, temperatures soar to blistering levels as cicadas emerge to sing their ear-shattering song. Months of continued exposure is enough to make anyone start to feel a little off. Anyone that is, except that oddity the locals call the Cicada Man.
Oh, man.
Who is that strange man, and why is he always walking around with boxes full of live cicadas? More important, what does he do with them?
Okay, this is weird.
Yeah, as the heat starts to get to our heroine and her sanity depletes, real life and delusion begin to mix. Her darkest nightmares seep into our world, and she fears the Cicada Man has planted his swarm of insects inside her.
Wow.
She must get them out at all costs.
Okay, you did end up reading this whole paragraph.
I did read the entire paragraph.
Well, I could tell you this.
Because there was no place to cut it off. There's no place to cut it off.
You know what? Cicadas, they show, I don't know about you, but they show up down here in the South, and they're fucking annoying.
They make a lot of noise.
They make a lot of noise right near my damn window as I'm trying to sleep. And I don't know if I can watch this movie because it might just piss me off while I'm trying to watch it. I have to look into this because this might be kind of interesting. But moving on, we have from Cinema Guild another 2022 film called The Novelists Film. Yeah, I don't know. I've of course, never heard of this.
But I'm very, very interested in it. I love the aesthetic that it's getting off. Yeah, the Novelist Film. I believe this is probably an indie film that came out sometime last year. It looks like it runs about 92 minutes. And yeah, female novelist takes a long trip to visit a bookstore run by a younger colleague who has fallen out of touch. Then she goes up a tower on her own and runs into a film director and his wife. Looks like it's a movie that just kind of somebody going through some type of existential journey. Yeah, this gets way too descriptive to like point where it's like plot by plot, and I'm like, yeah.
Okay. Well, moving on, we have we're getting into the big stuff, I think, here. Is there any smaller stuff before we get to the big stuff? Here's one. How about this one? VCIC Classic Films. We have Jack Armstrong. This looks like a series, actually, a 15-episode series. A brilliant scientist working on the atom-powered motors is kidnapped and taken to a mysterious island where the master villain, his usual cliffhanger form, hopes to conquer the world and gives our heroes a hell of a time. Jack Armstrong, of course, twats these evil plans and twarts. I said twats.
Yes, you did. It's thwarts, I believe.
I'm going to say twats.
Okay,
Twats these evil
plans. It is your podcast.
Yeah. In the nick of time. Good, clean, fun-filled with exciting chases, fights, and thrills through 15 chapters. I might have to check this out. This might be fun. Heard of this? You've heard of Jack Armstrong?
I've not heard of it, no.
Well, he seems to twat things, so get into that. But moving on.
Yeah, Mate, you want to talk about Imprint right now? They're
let's do it
in front of us. They're just staring at us in the face.
Well, I was just searching for Bobby Fischer so that I could talk about it.
Oh, nice. Have you ever seen this movie? I have
seen this
good.
Movie. Yeah.
Because I've seen it myself. I actually watched it when I was much younger. Didn't remember anything about it. And then as I was watching the movie, it all started coming back to me. And it all started flooding back like
Chess Prodigy.
I remember that scene. Because the movie does have a bit of a misleading title. You think it's a movie about Bobby Fischer, but it's not. Bobby Fischer was a chess prodigy, a big chess player in the 70s and 80s and whatnot. But this movie is about another young chess prodigy in Josh Watson, who I think came to prominence in the early 90s, I think. At a very young age, at like 7 years old, a huge chess prodigy. And this movie is kind of about his early life and him just starting out. And it's really fascinating about, the pressures that are put on children at that age when it comes to these professional things, whether it be kids playing baseball, soccer, football, whatever. But this is competitive chess, and it's the same type of stuff going on with parents put pressure on the kids. Kids are kind of feeling that pressure and whatnot. What did you think of the movie, Steven, though?
I mean, it's been a while since I watched it, but I have seen it. And yeah, I mean, it's an earlier film, but it makes me think about Whiplash a little bit, like that idea of
didn't put that connection there.
I mean, just like the idea of like how, somebody that is very good at something, how you treat them, what's harmful and what's not, and how much should you put into that passion,
especially for like young children, where there is oftentimes when it comes to the prodigies, there is often a lot of expectation put on them, a lot of pressure put on them by parents who typically are trying to live vicariously through their children. And that's not so much in this film, but you can kind of glean that theme from it, where it's trying to, maybe talk about that a little bit or tangentially. You see it all the time. Go to any little league game in the country, you're going to see parents in the crowds screaming at their children who are out there just playing. You know what I mean? It happens all the time.
Yeah, but this comes with a lot of new features, of course. It's Imprint's pretty good about that. New commentaries, new interviews. New interview with the director, Steve Zillion. And didn't they do a movie on Bobby Fischer though? Didn't they do one recently?
Maybe a documentary.
Or didn't Tobey Maguire do a movie? Am I thinking of the right
Oh,
person?
are you talking about Pawn Sacrifice?
Yeah, Pawn Sacrifice. Wasn't that about Bobby Fischer, or was that something else?
Hold on, let me look. 'Cause I actually never saw the movie, but I remember when it was in the theater.
And then they did do that movie with
2014.
What's that?
Yeah, it is about Bobby Fischer. Set during the Cold War, American chess prodigy Bobby Fischer finds himself caught between two superpowers and his own struggle as he challenges the Soviet Union. Yeah, Tobey Maguire plays Bobby Fischer.
Yeah. And then they also did, of course, chess had its day on Netflix too, as well, with that Anya Taylor-Joy show.
Yes.
That was a fun show. I like that.
Yes, it was. It made a lot of people want to play chess. I played chess when I was younger and know the game, but I'm not good at it. but I know the rules, I guess.
Yeah.
I remember playing a lot of computer chess when I was a kid, because in the 90s, before we had the internet, we had really rudimentary games on our computers.
Solitaire,
Minesweeper, Oregon Trail, and chess, and then pinball. Pinball was huge. But yeah, that's kind of what I did when I was a kid. And then of course I have chess. I actually have a whole chessboard underneath this table that I'm on right now with chess pieces. And sometimes they're in a bag and they will fall and make this clanging sound. So if you've ever heard that clanging sound on this podcast, that was chess pieces hitting the floor. So yeah, but Searching for Bobby Fischer, solid kind of 90s drama film with a really decent like supporting cast. Some people in here that you're going to recognize that hadn't become
Joan
prominent yet.
Allen, Lawrence Fishburne.
Joan Allen plays the mother. Joe Mantegna plays the father. The kind of chess expert, as portrayed by Ben Kingsley, Bruce Pandolfini, who is a real person, who actually I think was consulted for the Netflix series that you just said, and Lawrence Fishburne's also in the film as well as another kind of chess coach for the young boy.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say Ben Kingsley, William H. Macy.
Yeah, William H. Macy plays the father of some kid in some tournament that he's in. Dan Hedaya is in the film as well, as I think he's running one of these like chess tournament things. David Paymer, who I always thought was a really good character actor, is in the film as a father of another young chess player. Yeah, it's an interesting cast. At one point, Laura Linney shows up in this film as the young boy's teacher at like his school, and she's trying to talk to the parents about like, what's going on with their young son. I'm like, that's Laura Linney. Keep in mind, this movie came out in 1993, so it's before like most of the people were really any kind of household names.
Sometimes you just get that lucky. It's like, wow.
Some people have to start out somewhere, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on from there. What's the next one, Steven?
Blue Car. I know you watched this one. I didn't get to watch this one. So
I did see this late last night. This is an indie film from about 2002, 2003, and it's very much of that time. So this young girl, is based on this young girl who has been abandoned by her father. Her mother's neglectful. Her younger sister is dealing with kind of mental health issues and whatnot. She's got a lot of problems going on, and she's also kind of a young poet, young writer, and poetry is really her thing, or her way to escape. And she gets mentored by her English teacher, portrayed by David Strathairn, who I always thought was a great character actor too. Just fantastic. He's been in so many projects. You know who he is when you see him. But they have a bit of a mentor-mentee relationship that evolves in the film. I'll say that. It goes into territories that are a bit uncomfortable and whatnot. But the film is dealing primarily with her struggle of trying to get through all these things during a very, vulnerable time with, being a teenager and whatnot. Solid film, not great. It's a little bit all over the place when it comes to plot and story and whatnot. But I thought it was solid. It was good.
All right, cool. Next we have Miss Parker.
Yes. And
I was
gonna say, Mrs. Parker and the Vicious Cycle, right?
Yeah.
And
Or Circle.
Yeah, Circle? I said Cycle.
Yeah.
This movie can currently be watched on the Criterion Channel as part of the Jennifer Jason Leigh collection they've got going on, which is just a bunch of Jennifer Jason Leigh's work that she did like early on in her career. And this is one of them. She's playing Dorothy Parker in this film. Dorothy Parker is a real life. She was a critic, a writer, a satirist, a poet. She lived in early 20th century, specifically, like I think she was born maybe the late 19th century. Anywho, she was part of an era of like the 1920s and that whole kind of era. And she was part of this round table of people who met at the Algonquin Hotel in New York for lunch like every day. And it was kind of like certain other writers and movie producers and like I think Harpo Marx was part of the table as well. And it's all about kind of that society, but it is really centered around the Dorothy Parker story, her relationships with the men in her life, her relationship with her work, her relationship with herself and what she's going through with mental things and alcoholism and drug things. Really, it's really solid. Jennifer Jason Leigh, I think, is fantastic in the film, and you do see a lot of people show up in here as well. Like Matthew Broderick plays a love interest in the film at one point, and a lot of other people who show up that are like character actors that you'll remember. But it's an interesting time, but it helps a lot if you know the people and the society in which she lives in, or else you'll be kind of lost with the context and whatnot.
No, it sounds
Also, she worked in Hollywood too. She was a Hollywood
Okay.
screenwriter. She was one of the co-writers for A Star Is Born. Probably what people probably most prominently know her work from.
All right. And it looks like there's a documentary and stuff. So that maybe it might be good to look at some of these features before you watch the movie. Maybe I don't know, to help get a little bit of context around.
Yeah, there's a commentary by actor interview with actor Campbell Scott, which is brand new. Yeah, and there's actually a documentary about Dorothy Parker on here. You're right.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe watch that documentary first and get a little bit of context, and come watch this movie. All right. Well, moving on. Let's get into one of the box sets here. We got the Jessica Lange, the Film Focus Jessica Lange, 1982 to 1995, 4-disc hard box. Yeah, I mean, once again, they're doing another focus here. Jessica Lange, I think, in recent years has been very well known for being on American Horror Story.
And wasn't she in like nearly every season of that?
Pretty much, except for I think recent seasons. The last few recent seasons she hasn't been a part of, but she's been a part of most of them. And of course, she's been a great actress for a while. And,
for many decades. Yeah, she's won 2 Oscars. She's an Oscar winner. Yeah, she's been in many things I'm pretty sure people have seen. So she won an Oscar for being in Blue Sky, and then she also won for Tootsie. She was in Tootsie.
There you go.
Yeah, she's been around for a long, long time. Fantastic actress. I remember her work on many things. I believe she was in Cape Fear as well. The Martin Scorsese film. Yeah, she's got a filmography a mile long, just on and on. She was in Big Fish. She was in Titus. She was in so many different movies, and this is a lot of her earlier work from the 80s, really. What are the 4 films that are in here? There's Francis, Crimes of the Heart, Music Box, and then what's that one? Losing Isaiah is the 4th one. So it's a 4 movie box set. I actually only got to see Crimes of the Heart. That was the only one I got to watch of these. And that is an interesting film. It's a film that is actually a star-studded film. Diane Keaton, Jessica Lange, Sissy Spacek all play sisters. And they're kind of these eccentric sisters. They're all a little bit different. Like Diane Keaton's character is the more reserved one. Jessica Lange's character is the one who actually left home and went to Hollywood to become an actress, and she kind of failed at that. So she has to return home. And then Sissy Spacek's character is a bit of in the middle of the two, where she stayed home, but she's got some things going on. Like she just got arrested for shooting her husband. So she's got some things going on in that movie. But the movie is less plot based, and it's all about just their relationship and their backstories and the thing in their lives together and their different personalities. It's great to see all these actresses bounce off of one another and just play these characters. The movie's a little thin on plot, and that was kind of my big issue with it. But I didn't mind the film at all. The other film in here that I wanted to see, but is a rather long film, I think it was 2 hours and 20 minutes long, is Frances, where Jessica Lange plays the actress Frances Farmer, who was a big hit, I believe, in the early kind of golden age of Hollywood. I want to say 20s and 30s. I could be wrong. Could be more 30s and 40s. So don't yell at me in the comments. But she was blacklisted by the Hollywood, the whole Hollywood blacklisting and stuff like that. So the movie goes through kind of her having to deal with that and losing her career, which a lot of people did. A lot of people went from being prominent stars and movie people to no careers at all, just completely gone. And I believe she was one of them. So it's kind of a biopic on that.
All right. I was really interested in Music Box because it is directed by Costa Grava.
Yes, yes, it is. Who's got two? No, he's got more than two. He's got a few movies in the Criterion Collection. I know I have them. State of Siege,
yes,
Z, which doesn't have a Blu-ray release yet. And that's probably his best film. There was another one I had too.
I think it is.
I'm actually looking up right now. Yeah, he's got The Confession, which I have,
and then Missing is out from some other labels. I think.
Criterion has it. They only have it on DVD though.
Yeah, it's out at Indicator, and I believe maybe Kino put out a recent Blu-ray for it, maybe, because I think it was one of the ones that got snatched up.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jessica Lange.
Have you seen do you know the plot of Losing Isaiah?
No.
So Losing Isaiah, I actually looked up the plot. But Halle Berry's in that film.
Okay.
Young Halle Berry's in that film. So what happens is from the general gist of the plot is a young woman who has a baby, I believe is a drug addict, and she leaves her baby in a dumpster, but then goes back for it the next day and it is gone. And I believe Jessica Lange is the person who had picked it up and then adopts it as her own child. And then years later, the mother tries to come back and get custody of her child. I think that's the premise of that film.
Yeah. Sounds like that's going to be a rough one.
Ironically, I was out the other day just doing some used movie shopping, and I saw a DVD copy of Losing Isaiah, and I was like, well, this is irrelevant now. It's so random.
Yeah.
It's so random. But yeah, moving on to another box set. I think that's where we're going. Here it is.
Yes.
Jennifer Connelly 3-movie box set. I didn't see this one coming. I've always been a fan of Jennifer Connelly.
Oh yeah.
She's always been one of my favorites. And this is an interesting, very diverse group of films in here. You got some of her early stuff with Career Opportunities, which already has a Blu-ray release by Kino here in the States, which I have. I think I bought it at one of their sales in the last year or two. And the other two films, which I think, Steven, you got to see and I got to see as well, what's it, Waking the Dead?
Waking the Dead.
And
House of Sand and Fog.
House of Sand and Fog. Yeah, Steven, what did you think? Have you seen Career Opportunities? That's actually I want to ask you.
I haven't. Okay. It looked like it was kind of like a little bit of a romp, like a little bit of a comedy, like, cute movie. Like I don't know. I didn't get a chance to look into that one. But yeah. But the other two movies are kind of specifically House of Sand and Fog. That's a devastating movie.
That's a heavy
movie.
Heavy movie. Yeah, I don't want to say anything about it other than it's a heavy dramatic film.
It's a moral dilemma type of movie.
Yes.
where there's not. It's like people are put into a tough decision.
Yeah. So loose plot wise, Jennifer Connelly, she loses her house based off of some like BS tax thing that doesn't really apply to her, and then Ben Kingsley and his family, who are immigrants from Iran, and he's like a former military person there, and they had to flee Iran at some point, move into that house because he wants to flip it. He bought it cheap from the state that took it over, and then he wants to flip it for like 4 times what he paid for it. And she's trying to get it back, and there's a lot of conflict there, and the conflict, gets heavy.
And then there's more existential things like that really like really kind of bind everything together, like things that like where these people are having this conflict, but there is like some like things that about them that are similar. Like there's it's a movie where it shows a conflict where there's two people trying to do opposite things, but we see both points of view and we see that they're a lot similar than they realize, and like they've been through things in their life that are very similar, and like it's really good, very well put together. Connolly is amazing in the movie. Ben Kingsley's
I'll say
amazing.
this: the one thing I didn't like about the movie, and it really dragged it a little bit down for me. There's a romantic relationship going on with Jennifer Connelly's character and another character, and I wasn't digging it. Not digging it, but just like, this is really forced in here. And the actor who they paired her up with wasn't that great. That
well,
was my
he's
issue.
not great. He's not really great, but he could be great. I've seen him in
He
other
was
movies.
just kind of a plot function, really.
Well, I mean, he is, but if you think about, it's hard to talk about without talking about things like the movie. I'll talk about that later with you, but I think it works fine. It is maybe one of the lesser parts of the movie, but I think it works. But I really like that. And then Waking the Dead, which
another
also
deep movie.
Another deep movie also stars Billy Crudup,
Yes.
who's I think a really underrated actor.
Right around, I think it came out the same year as Almost Famous.
It did.
2000.
Yep. So this was a good year, and in this film he plays like this aspiring politician who's meets Jennifer Connelly. She's a very important relationship in his life, but then the movie kind of jumps around. She does pass away, and it talks about how his life before her and after her is, and it gets a little bit supernatural in ways. Like
it gets a little jumbled when it comes to the plot structure of it. You are bouncing back and forth between the past and the future, back and forth, and the movie tries to kind of pair up the past and the future for specific reasons. But he's going through a deep existential crisis, really, or just personal crisis, trying to really process grief.
Yeah.
Because he keeps seeing this person everywhere he goes, and it becomes more and more weighing upon him as time goes on. And the movie is commentating a lot on grief, commentating a lot on, holding things in you for so long can really bring you down.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to make peace with that at some point, or come to some type of level of peace, or else it's just going to, kill you, really. It's just going to drive you mad. I thought Billy Crudup was good in the film. Jennifer Connelly, I wish she was in it more, actually.
Well, I was going to say, like, it kind of feels like she's secondary in this movie.
That's why it's interesting that it's in her box set, and she's kind of featured. She's not really the main part of the movie or the main character of the movie, but her presence is always there. Like, her presence drives the movie, whether she's on screen or not.
Yeah, when she's in the movie, she's great, but it's very much, she's very much a supporting character in a way.
And the most completely tonally different film in this box set is Career Opportunities. Career Opportunities is a teenage comedy. It is. Came out in 1991, starring Frank Whaley and Jennifer Connelly specifically. It was written by John Hughes, but I think I don't even think he acknowledged the movie, because I think they just took his screenplay and did whatever they wanted with it or whatnot. I don't think it was something that he really particularly liked. But it's one of those kind of almost leftover 80s comedies, I think, in my opinion. But I know a lot of people really, really like it. So Jim is portrayed by the Frank Whaley character. He gets like an overnight job at I think it's a Kmart, actually, because back in the 90s, like, Kmart was the Walmart really around. I mean, when I was growing up, there weren't really Walmarts around here, or Targets. There was Kmart. Kmart was a big thing, and this movie is also kind of a promotional for Kmart. Because it's like a new Kmart shows up in town, and everybody wants to get a job at it, and he ends up getting an overnight job at this Kmart. And then Jennifer Connelly plays this character who I think is running away from home, and she ends up kind of staying in this Kmart, and they end up having like a bonding romantic thing going on. And then one night while he's working there, I think thieves kind of break in to try to rob the place, and they've got to like thwart the thieves and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a fun kind of teenage comedy.
All right. Well, that's exciting set. I think I might have to jump on that one. Let's see what we got here. Should we finish up with Criterion? Or no,
Well,
let's do Indicator.
I mean, we got some. Yeah, we have a couple we have Indicator and TerraVision and Criterion. I think are the main ones left to go. But yeah, we've talked about Indicator so many times on this podcast. We had Michael Brook on earlier. We had John from Indicator, and yeah, so we've got 2 more genre Rollin films. We got 2 4Ks already. We got 2 more 4Ks now, or Blu-rays, depending on whichever ones you want to buy. We've got Night of the Hunted from 1980. And what's the first one? It's The Rape of the Vampire. We have one of his early works of Jean Rollin, like literally at 1968
the first
and
vampire
1980.
movie he did. Yeah.
And they are rather different films, but I know we both got to see this one, so I guess we'll start here.
Yeah, it's
what a weird movie.
It's a weird movie, but
as most of Jean Rollin's work is.
But I tell you what, a visually stunning movie.
Shot in black and white.
Black and white, and it's very just like very well shot. I mean, even if I didn't know what the fuck was going on, I was like, this looks good. I mean, like, I can't wait to revisit it and get some of the look at some of the features on this, because I really need this movie to be broken down to me a little bit more. But it is a fascinating movie.
It's almost a tale of 2 movies combined into one. The first half hour of this movie it's like a short film, and then the next hour of the movie is like is like a continuation of it, but also complete. So the first half hour is about there's this group of, like, I think they're like psychoanalysts or psychiatrist type people are going to the country because there's these women who believe that they are like 200-year-old vampires, and they don't buy it. They think it's a ruse. They think it's just like a mental illness thing, and they want to cure them of it. And they attempt to do that, but don't really achieve that. And then the next hour of the film is dealing with like this vampire queen and this trying to also cure vampirism. It gets really weird.
I mean, I don't know if this is the case, but with a lot of filmmakers on very small budgets, a lot of times we know that they pair up things from other projects into like different ideas change as production goes on. So maybe this is one of them productions where ideas, as they were rewriting the script as the movie went on, and maybe some of the ideas were like they didn't flow as well. But I mean, honestly, I thought the film was pretty interesting. I definitely am going to revisit it, and of course I'm buying it, so it's definitely going to be coming in, and I can't wait to revisit it because it visually definitely was interesting. But the other one is not Downtown Heat.
Oh no, not Downtown Heat. We've got Night of the Hunted, and Night of the Hunted is like one of his later films. And when they did when they sent out the email, like the press email about this release, they said that this was kind of an overlooked film from him, right? Did you get that?
I didn't read it.
Oh, okay.
I just scrolled down to what the releases were, and that's all I did.
Yeah, so this is a woman is taken to a mysterious clinic whose patients have a mental disorder in which their memories and identities are disintegrating as a result of a strange environmental accident. That's the overall gist of the film. It's tough. It's another tough film to describe because there's just weird things going on. Like the film starts off where like there's these people escaping from this institution. One gets caught and then has like a tryst with some random dude. This is part of that whole later era of Jean Rollin when he was getting into kind of like softcore adult entertainment. And there's a lot of moments of this film of gratuitous nudity and sex scenes just for the sake of throwing them into the movie. Not really conducive to any type of plot. Because the plot, I think, in this film is rather thin. But there are a bunch of people at this institution that are for some reason losing their memories, and they don't really particularly know why it's happening. And the movie, it doesn't really get too deep into any of that. But it's another like interesting kind of just experiment of genre lines when it comes to style and all of those things in here. It's tough to explain without having people watch it. I watched both of these films. I think were streaming on Canopy, and I think weren't they also streaming on YouTube as well?
The one I watched of the other one, yeah, it was on YouTube, and they looked pretty good. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm very curious about what these are going to look like in 4K. I know the first two films that they put out from John Rollin already look fantastic, and sounds like we're going to get many, many more. I'm assuming, and also 4K. I guess depending on the state of the elements that they get.
I mean, I'm sure it's not everything. I mean, I'm going to assume that it's not all Rollin's movies, but I'm sure it's like a good amount of them, and I'm guessing they're going all in on 4K. It sounds
and I know that once upon a time, Kino had put out a lot of these on Blu-ray over a decade ago, but these obviously are going to look much better than whatever elements they used for those or whatever restoration they're doing. But yeah, these are both looking good. Let me check how are the special features looking for these. I'm assuming they're going to be
loaded, of course.
Loaded. Yeah, they do look. Yeah, they look quite. Yeah, there's there's 3 commentaries on this first one. Yeah, and then there's even stuff with Gene Rollin himself. Obviously, before he passed away, there's a documentary about the Night of the Hunted. There's going to be tons of stuff on here.
And of
both
course,
of these.
we need to remind people that Kat Ellinger's documentary.
Oh yes.
Work. I think I'm assuming still on Arrow Video's streaming service. Orchestrating the Storms, I believe, is the name of the name of it. Orchestrating the Storms, the Fantastique World of Jean Rollin.
And go back and watch or listen to our interview with her about talking about that and kind of getting into the world of the Fantastique and what it is, and it's mixing horror and sci-fi and fantasy and mixture of genres to create its own genre, which is fascinating. And Jean Rollin was kind of a real highlight of that, I guess you could say.
He was definitely outside the mainstream, which became the French New Wave.
In a way, yes.
In a way,
he was bucking the trend.
Yeah. But all right, moving from Indicator, let's I guess go over to TerraVision. And,
there's 4 releases from TerraVision. Well, there's the TerraVision. Yeah, there's Shrigala, which I believe is looks like a werewolf type of film, because I think Shrigala, I forgot which language it is. It translates to wolf in English. That's all I can say. And actually, the only one of these releases I got to see was the Japanese remake of Cube. But Shrigala doesn't even have a plot synopsis on IMDb. That is how deep into the archives that Brad Henderson goes to get these movies.
Yeah, no. Well, we know that it's essentially a Friday the 13th kind of knockoff movie.
Yes, he did mention that.
Yeah, and so I mean, there's a lot. I'm always interested to see knockoffs because it's fun. I mean, especially like Italian knockoffs and Australian knockoffs are always fun. But this one, I want to say this is an Asian film knockoff. So, yeah, I mean, that'll be fun. But you did say you saw Cube, which is a 2021 remake of the 97 was when the original came out.
Yes, I did. I didn't even know that they remade that movie. Cube originally came out in, like Steven said, 1997. It had a few
sequels,
and then it has this remake. And this movie is kind of essentially the same film as the original one, at least from my recollection. I've only seen the original film once, and it was a couple of years ago. I saw it kind of randomly just out of curiosity, because I remember seeing clips from it and whatnot, and yeah, so if you don't know the premise of this, these strangers kind of wake up in this cube-shaped prison where they're in these where they can travel from these compartments to compartments, and the compartments all have different numbers in them, and the numbers may indicate which compartments they can go to. If you go to the wrong compartment, they're booby-trapped. They will kill you. Like fire will spurt out of nowhere, or like spikes will show up, or things will impale you if you go into the wrong one. And it's about these people trying to figure out how to get out of this maze cube type place. And I know a lot of people didn't really rate this rather highly because of the lack of gore in it, because the movie is a lot more about like thinking and kind of puzzle figuring things out and doing math throughout the runtime of the movie. I thought it was fine. I thought it was just kind of a solid Japanese version of Cube.
It's always interesting. It's interesting when you hear other countries remaking American movies. Like
you don't hear that very often. It's usually the other way around, where
definitely
we gotta because people don't like to read subtitles, or people don't like to listen to other languages. I guess if that's not their own, especially American audiences and whatnot. But yeah, that's Cube. But some of the other ones here are films. Deep into the archives, as Brad Henderson likes to go. So Captives is one of the, I don't know if you saw the trailer for this. This thing was definitely shot on videotape back in the 80s. Like it looks so much like it was definitely shot on it, even if you see just the screenshots of this. So yeah, this movie came out in 1988. Apparently, I think at one point, I think I saw, was it this film or was it the other one? I think it was Captives, where Brad Henderson said on his Twitter that the bootleg VHS of this was, I think, one of the most highly valued bootleg VHS that was on the market at one point, because that was the only way you could see this movie. I could be misquoted. Don't kill me. But yeah, so that seems to be it. And it looks like, what's the premise that you have of that movie on there? I can't see.
It says when Nikki is released from prison after being sentenced to a crime she didn't commit, she and her deranged brother Chick, which I love that name. I'm gonna name if I have a son, I'm gonna name him Chick Billings. Her deranged brother Chick and Polly set out to expose ex-husband Barry to his family by forcing them to watch videos of the very real horrors he enjoys perpetuating. As the Kroll theater scene as the Kroll theater scene plays out, the captors descend into mania, and the captives fight for their lives in a shocking tale of excess and abuse. So,
so Gary P. Cohen is the same director as Video Violence and Video Violence 2.
Video Violence is pretty good.
Video Violence is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
That was put out back when TerrorVision was part of the partner labels over at Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah.
And that came in a double feature edition.
Yeah. Yep.
Which I think you could still probably track that down.
You still get that. Yeah.
But this movie was the one he directed in between Video Violence and Video Violence 2.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, that's interesting. I'll have to look more into that one. We also have Welcome to Hell.
What a title.
Yeah.
What a title. So this is a recent release. I think it came out
2021.
2021. A lot of recent stuff coming out here. I don't know much about this movie. Do you know anything about it, Steven?
No.
Okay.
In her search for independence, Lucia falls into the arms of a black metal singer, Christine, and an ill-fated relationship rooted in violence has reveals Christian's satanic onstage presentation is all too real. Desperate to escape the singer's Duchess and protects her unborn child, Lucia moves to her grandmother's forest cabin, but finds her monstrous past will stop at nothing to find her. Interesting. It sounds like it's like one of them like heavy metal kind of movies. I think of like what's that movie? Candy. What's that movie that came out? That metal movie is like
the one with Ethan Embry.
Yes.
I know you bought it, and I know you really like it.
Yeah, it's the Umbrella release. I think it's called something with candy.
Let me look it up. I was actually looking up something else. I guess I'll switch gears.
Jeez, man, I'm already reading. I'm losing my nose is getting stuffy from being sick. And you're not.
Yeah, it's not called Candy. I can tell you that.
Okay, damn it.
Maybe
I just want some candy. I don't know.
I guess it could be. It could be.
Fuck it. It doesn't matter. But this looks like it's got that heavy metal vibe to it. And it's got a goat on the front, and goats always creep me out. So, I mean,
I always think of The Witch, Black Phillip from The Witch.
Exactly.
Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
Exactly.
What a movie. But yeah, I was looking at yeah, I was looking to see Welcome to Hell where if I could find because I found it on when I went on to IMDb, I couldn't find it. Um yeah, it looks like one of the kind of like satanic cult type films, horror films.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it. So let's move on to Criterion.
Yeah, and I do want to say Welcome to Hell is streaming on Tubi and Canopy and Freevee and Roku. Gee, everybody's got it apparently.
Everybody's got that
But
fucking
let's
movie.
move on. Let's move on to Criterion. They were actually the earliest one that came out of the gate this week with their announcements.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got a group of what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4 announcements.
Yep.
What's the one you have? You
We
have Dry
got
Long.
Dry
Dry
Long
Long
So.
So?
Yep. From 1998. It's a DIY film. A rediscovered treasure of 1990s DIY filmmaking. Colleen Smith, Dry Long So embeds an incentive look at racial injustice within a lovely handmade buddy movie murder mystery romance. That sounds cool. I believe this was streaming somewhere, wasn't it? Maybe.
I think I may have found it on YouTube of all places.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I found it there. And yeah, this movie is an interesting, like we said, DIY, meaning do it yourself, low budget indie film from the 90s. And it feels very much in the same type of vein as The Watermelon Woman.
Okay.
A little less focused, actually feels even lower budgeted than that.
Huh.
It feels very much on that even indier level than that, and it's about this young art student named I think Pika, and she's a photographer and she's going around and taking Polaroids of young black men because she has this idea that they're becoming extinct because of the high incarceration rate and all these kinds of other social things that are going on. And ironically, those types of cultural, social things and political things really now have only gotten worse since this movie has come out. So her theories and whatnot about racial injustice and culture and stuff has only become more prominent as things have gone on. So the film is dealing with that, but she's also dealing with a lot of personal things as well in her life, dealing with things on a certain personal level. It's a really, really solid indie film that I really, really like. But it is rather low budget. It's a very raw film.
Yeah.
It is dealing very much capturing the community of that she lives in. So it's an interesting look at that. I really liked a lot of interesting themes going on in that movie, and I wanted to look up to see if she had done anything else, but I think this was her not her only feature, but her first feature.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's her only feature. Yeah, all the rest are shorts.
Yeah, I was gonna say her shorts are included in the features. At least some of them are.
Yeah, maybe all of them. She only has 7 directorial credits on IMDb,
Okay.
and one of them being Dry Long So.
Okay. Well, awesome. A new, they're always good at. Criterion likes to introduce new directors, like to
And
the
you do,
collection.
you do get a new conversation with her as well.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
moving on from there, do you want to go to? I want to save the collection for last. The Swedish films. Want to go to? Because I know you saw this and I saw this. Dim Sum, A Little Bit of Heart.
Yeah. Wonderful movie. It's
very much so.
Yeah. Very, very, very. It's one of the movies where it's not a lot happens. It's not a plot-driven movie.
It's not a plot-driven movie. It's a vibe type movie.
It's a slice of life kind of like.
Slice of life. Do you know it's done by the same director who did Chan is Missing?
Chan is Missing, yeah.
So it has that similar vibe to it, where we're dealing with Chinese culture in America and their lives, really.
Yeah.
And so this film is based on this elderly woman who really believes that she is about to pass away, which is kind of very sad. I think she went to a fortune teller, and her fortune teller told her that her time was coming.
She was going to die. Yeah, soon. Yeah.
So one of the last things she wants to do is kind of get things in order, really. But most specifically, one of her daughters isn't married yet, and she wants her daughter to get married. And she's trying to make that happen, which reminds me a lot of, I know different cultures, different things, but very similar theme is Ozu's Late Spring is similar to that, where it's a father, his last daughter is going to get married, and there's going to be, a change of family dynamics and whatnot. Obviously, Japanese culture, Chinese culture, not the same thing, but similar things going on when it comes to family. And in Dim Sum, very similar things like that are going on, but things are happening too. Yeah, very charming film. I found it.
Yeah, I thought the characters were all really, really wonderful. Great interplay between all of them. It was one of the movies where that, like I've said before, like sometimes other cultures' humor doesn't translate well, but in this one, I thought it was really, really like easy for me to pick up on what was funny and what was, like I really thought the characters were really, genuine and just
they felt real.
They felt
very
felt
real.
Yeah, but you could also see that there was an influence of our culture as well. Like
you were reading my mind,
Yeah.
because I grew up with being in an immigrant family. My parents immigrated here from overseas. My grandparents obviously the same way. So I've met a lot of people who have done the same thing. So you get to pick up on like how they've adopted the culture here.
Yeah.
And the one thing in here that I noticed is, and I've seen this in other immigrant cultures, is they'll start speaking in their native language, whatever that language may be, but they'll slip in some English words here and there. You know what I mean? Or they'll start speaking in their native language and then continue a sentence in English. And you see that the adopting of a different language, different culture, all that kind of stuff. But you still see that they have ties back to their original culture and language and things like that, because one of the things that this elderly woman wants to do before she passes away is go back to China and for one last time. And apparently that's a a cultural thing. Really, really great film. I was incredibly charmed by it. Makes a great comparison piece with, like I just said, Chan is Missing, because it's dealing a lot with Chinese culture in America. Victor Wong, who I believe was in that film, is also in this film as he's Uncle Tam in this film, and I thought he was fantastic. He's funny, humorous, just killing it in every scene. I'll tell you, there's one scene in this movie where they go to a McDonald's, and it's McDonald's like circa the mid '80s, and I'm like, it looks so different compared to today. Like it's just like the movie's almost like a time capsule piece as well, because you get a lot of the things in here of the culture of the time. I did fail to mention this movie, I think, is set in San Francisco as well.
Yes.
So you get kind of that West Coasty vibe, but it's not Los Angeles. It's a different place. Yeah, I really dug this movie a lot. I want to get this and Chan is Missing. I didn't get Chan is Missing during the last sale because I don't think my store actually had it.
Okay.
So this may be an interesting pairing for the next sale. But
I did remember the name of that movie, Devil's Candy.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So you were right. It had to do with candy.
Fucking candy was in there. I knew
candy
it was.
in it, man. The candy,
I almost got it.
Thing is, I put in candy on Blu-ray.com, and all I got was like every edition of Candyman and then hard candy. And I'm like, this is not helpful
It's
at
not
all.
it.
It's not helpful. But moving on, we got something that's going to be known to people, at least known to me, because I already own this on Blu-ray. So this is going to be one of those where, am I going to double dip? Am I not? Are you going to double dip? Who knows? But we have Akira Kurosawa's Dreams, which I believe was his second to last film. I should probably look that up before I talk out of nowhere. But Dreams is a film that was helped me by Steven Spielberg and Francis Ford Coppola, where I helped make this film happen at Warner Brothers. And yeah, this is a film where Akira Kurosawa made a series of vignettes that all were based on dreams he had. And the film is visually absolutely stunning, which makes me really kind of want this movie in 4K, because there's such bright colors in it. There's such rich landscapes and settings and all that kind of stuff, like set in the forest, so that the greens are going to be lush, the yellows are going to be lush, all that, all that stuff. And it already looks amazing on Blu-ray. And I'm like, still 4K is going to be mind-blowingly amazing. And yeah, it's just a beautiful, gorgeous masterwork of a film. And this was his actually third to last film. So I did want to reckon this is the film he did after Iran.
Yeah.
And before he did Iran, he did Couch Musha. And his last film was Madadeo, which I don't even know if that has a Blu-ray release. But anywho, Dreams is just a gorgeous film. If you already own the Blu-ray, congratulations. If you don't yet, this may be for you. I don't think it's coming with any new special features, right? It's the same.
I'm sure it doesn't.
It's the
it's
same.
the Criterion thing, yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Blu-ray with it, so it is. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't own it, so I can get the 4K and I'll be happy.
Yeah, I would. I was holding out for maybe a Akira Kurosawa box set. I wouldn't think a 4K set, but obviously they're gonna go with continuing to release these individually. I'm hoping for. I mean, if they're doing Dreams in 4K, Seven Samurai would be nice.
I'm sure they're getting around to that one.
Come on, I know.
I'm sure they're getting around to that one. But
that would be great. But now let's go to the last one. Bo Widerberg's New Swedish Cinema. Okay, we got ourselves a box set here. And I got to watch all of these movies because all of these movies are on YouTube right now.
Yeah, I really wanted to watch them because I was like, man, these are all available. Hell yeah. And I was like, no time.
Yeah, one of these films I think is on the Criterion channel. And
I think it's the last one.
Adeline 31.
I think,
or maybe I think it's Elvira Madigan. Elvira Madigan's on the Criterion channel, which is the second to last one in this set. But the other three are available on YouTube because there's this. I don't know who it was, but this genius of a person decided I'm going to upload all kinds of Swedish films to YouTube, and the quality is not bad. So I was like, way to go! This saves me from trying to. Not being able to see these. But the Bo Widerberg is an interesting set of films because these are films all from the 1960s. They're all set in the same era that Bergman was making films. And in a way, these films, I don't know, I have to do my research on this, which I didn't. They're trying to be kind of anti-Bergman, but they're also Bergman as well. It's tough to describe. He tried to kind of make a new Swedish type of film because, as we know, Bergman films are heavy. They're heavy, they're heady, they're theological, they're philosophical. There's something in a category of their own. And in this, Bo Widerberg tried to make a kind of a French New Wave version, but for Swedish films. And in some of these, he did do that. It's definitely stylistically, definitely when it comes to the plots that are going on here, they're way more. They're not as heady as the Bergman stuff that we were getting back then. So yeah, these are really good, solid films. I really like them. And they're all different too. They're all completely different in unique ways. So I actually wanted to get into some of these individually while we still can. So
yeah, I was gonna say, let's not go too crazy.
Yeah, let's not go to. So The Baby Carriage is the earliest one in here. I think it's actually his first film. Bo Widerberg, I think, was a writer as well as becoming a filmmaker too. You can check up the Wikipedia on him. But a tale of a young woman who has two flings but finds herself with difficult decisions when she finds herself pregnant. So the film is dealing with like unwed pregnancy and having to deal with that. It reminded me a lot of the film A Taste of Honey, which was a British film that had come out earlier, dealing with a young woman who is kind of on her own, having to deal with these like real life situations, specifically pregnancy and unwed stuff, and men not really being in the picture and whatnot. And the film is very much feels like a Nouvelle Vague film, feels like a French New Wave film. And you've got, Elvira Madigan, I think, is actually a period piece. And this is actually based on a true story. I think this is 19th century stuff or maybe earlier, where Elvira Madigan is like the the pseudonym of a woman who was a tightrope walker in a circus, and her and this lieutenant decide to get together and run away. The problem is the lieutenant is married and in the army, and he decides to ditch the army and go off with this woman, and they're basically on the run this whole time because he's a deserter, and they have comes to their relationship when it comes to getting money to survive, to find work, to find shelter, all this kind of stuff, and the goes down and down that path into negative territory. And yet again, it also feels very almost genre noirish, I would say. So I feel like Bo Vidder was just taking a lot from French cinema and really, really kind of utilizing that. Elvira Madigan, available to stream on the Criterion Channel. And Raven's End is a movie that feels very much, I think felt very much like a Bergman film. So is this a movie about the work? It feels like a Bergman film made in the light of kind of a neo-realist type of film. So you got this guy whose name is Anders, and he is kind of a working class guy who's trying to make it through life, really. And this is like pre-World War II Sweden. So it's a different type of world, different type of society, and he's trying to working class and trying to figure out his life. So it's one of those types of films, but it's gritty. You know what I mean? Like like a British neo-realist type of film. And then the last one is Adeline 31. And I have to tell you, Stephen, watching these movies back to back to back took a lot out of me. I don't know what it is with Swedish film, but they always end up, taking a lot of my energy for some reason. So this is a 1969 Swedish drama filmed by Bo Vidderberg. It depicts the 1931 Adelan shootings in which Sweden military forces opened fire against labor demonstrators in the Swedish sawmill district of Adelan, killing 5 people, including a young girl. So this film is dealing with unionizing, dealing with workers' rights, dealing with protesting, and dealing with like anti-conservative government oppression when it comes to putting their boot on workers' necks and stuff like that. Ironically, those types of unionizing themes never get old because unions are still fighting today for work from overbearing corporations and stuff like that. So that's all of those films. Quite a collection here. If you're into Swedish films and you want a little stuff that isn't Bergman, this is some good stuff. Like this is some really good stuff. Also, Bo Vidderberg, one of his films was also released by Radiance. Man on the Roof is a Bo Vidderberg film.
Awesome.
So and that's right now, for those of you listening, the limited edition of that just sold out from their website and is becoming a little bit tougher to get on places like Orbit and Diabolic and other places like that. So if you can snag your copies, I'd do that ASAP. If you care about limited edition stuff like Steven and I do.
Oh, I don't give a shit about that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were specific like me.
That's a lie.
Mr. Box Set Man. Yeah.
I am Mr. Box Set Man. Mr. Box Set. I got to make a song about that. Well, I think this will do it. 3 hours, 3 hours, 15 minutes. Not too bad. That could have been worse. But once again, we got a shout out to all the people that took the time to jump in here and talk with us. That's more love than I thought we would get, and just can't say enough about everybody, not only that popped up in here, but of course all the other people that didn't pop up in here tonight. I know there was some people that wanted to come in, but they just had other things going on.
Of course, it happens. Life finds a way.
Yeah. Life happens. Other people are busy with other things. So thanks to everybody that supports us, and continues to, and everybody that popped in tonight. Thank you for taking the time supporting us and all that. I do want to say this before I forgot. I should have said it when we had him on, but Ryan from Disconnected that we had on earlier, we will be seeing him again next week. Next Tuesday, we will be doing episode 2 of the Unwatched Pile. So we'll be talking about some first time watches and pairing them with some other things in our collection next week with him. So watch out for that live stream next week, Tuesday, 9 p.m. EST. With that said, let's do the normal thing, I guess. Andrew, where can you be found?
You can find me on Twitter at Cabzilla06, as well as our YouTube channel, which you're currently watching, in Chasing Labels.
And you can find me on Facebook, Stephen Billings, or over at my letterbox. You can follow me and see what I'm watching. You can find me also running the other Chasing Labels pages, whether it be our Facebook group, our Instagram, our Twitter. And then you can find the audio for the podcast on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and other places. Thanks again for listening so many times, 100 times over. And hey, keep on watching them movies.
I know I will.